Yay. Aw. Alright, sorry. Someday we'll read this blog post. It's fine. That's what we do here, is we just geek out at whatever's in front of us. And it's beautiful. Alright, here we go. Zoop. I guess I can go this big if that's we're gonna... Yeah. Alright. Woo! Okay. Okay. I'm actually just gonna turn the music off. All right. Here we go. I have been very anxiously awaiting this blog post because we knew it was coming. They told us that they were going to have kind of a retrospective, a look back at SOTO, the things they, think that they did right and want to do more of, and as well as the lessons that they learned and want to change going forward with development of Guild Wars 2. What they learned from Secrets of the Obscure and seeing the community's reaction to it. So I've been looking forward to this. I'm very excited to see their thoughts, because we often, we put our thoughts out there and we say what we, what we thought, but it's limited how much we get back from the devs, because there's, they can only talk about so much. So it's awesome to get I want to get their perspective, what they thought of Secrets of the Obscure, right? I can watch other creators and other players all day of what they thought, but what did the devs think about how it went? And that's what this is supposed to be. So I'm very excited for this. All right. So, Secrets of the Obscure, looking back and forward. Hey, Guild Wars community! Josh Davis here, game director for Guild Wars 2. Last week's content update was a significant milestone for us, both technically and symbolically. It marked the final major release for Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure. I like the little TM SOTO. Who types it so? Nobody types it in capital S, little OT, capital O. Is that with it in the past? Is this how they want it to be spelled? Because I could see Path of Fire was P with a little O and an F, and Heart of Thorns, obviously hot. But because we had hot and POF and EOD, and those were usually with the little O. I've never seen it with the little OT. Weird that in this blog post is the first time you type it that way. Nothing wrong with typing it that way. That's actually more accurate. I don't know. It just looks weird to me because I don't wait, because they even put use SOTO here. Why did they change how they've been typing it? That's odd to change it at this point. It should have been that from the beginning if that's how they wanted it. SOTO. It looks like SOTO. Sorry. I shouldn't be criticizing how it's typed, but that stands out to me because I haven't seen it written like that. It's our first foray into the annual expansion model, first announced in early 2023. As we conclude one chapter with the final content update of SOTO, we are eagerly preparing to unveil the details of our next expansion. Before we all get swept up by next week's news of what's coming for Guild Wars 2 next week, I want to take a moment to reflect on the development of SOTO and some of the high-level learnings we've taken forward with us into our 5th expansion. I am so excited for that. You won't learn about the specific features, settings, or story of our next expansion in this blog post. That's for next week. Next week, we're going to learn what the next expansion is, y'all. But you'll have a better understanding of how we're approaching its development. Retrospective. Oh, I love this art. This was the best concept art. This is so cool. I love that concept art so much. A quick history refresher. A little over a year and a half ago, we announced that we'd be transitioning from the long-standing Living World model to smaller, more frequent annual expansion releases. This was a significant shift, but the new direction was born out of an examination of the pain points experienced by our players and our developers. The reasons we laid out for this change and what we hoped to achieve by it were simple but deeply important. Deliver content updates in a more consistent and timely manner, provide better support for the systems and game modes that make up the Guild Wars 2 experience, and enable ArenaNet employees to enjoy a better work-life balance. ArenaNet is really good with that. They I have never interacted with devs as much as I have the Guild Wars 2 devs, had conversations with them both IRL and online, and just felt like Guild Wars 2 more than any other game. I feel like I know the people behind the game. Like I know the people working on it who make it happen, who make it a reality, like more than any other game I have ever played. I feel like I know the Guild Wars 2 devs, and I think that is a testament to how the studio is run and how they respect the lives of the developers. They're not just a content farm, they actually uh respect the people who make the game, as we should, as well as we all should. So fantastic. Now that we've completed a full expansion release cycle, I can confidently say that we've made significant strides toward these goals. But as with all things, there's room for improvement, both in terms of the content we deliver and the process through which we deliver it. For today, I'm going to focus on some of what we've learned on the content side of things. I love this. Exactly, like they're one of us. They're I feel like the devs are fans of Guild Wars 2 just like we are, and I love that that's so apparent in the way they communicate, how they talk, how excited they are for the game. Like I said, this blog post, like I know a couple of the things that are coming in this blog post simply because not only did I see other people very happy about it, but like my entire timeline after this blog post went live, my entire Twitter timeline was the devs themselves retweeting it and saying how excited they were for people to see what's coming and for people to read it and understand their process. Like they are as excited and into this series as we are. Oh, hi Aaron, thank you. So I love that. I love that about ArenaNet. I love this artwork so much. Story. The conclusion of the Elder Dragon saga. Oh, Wing! I'm sorry, I had the alerts paused. I wanted to get into this before alerts started going off. Wing, thank you so much for the 44 months. How you doing?
So long.
That's so long. Thank you for the 44 months. How you doing? I hope you're doing so good. So good. We are going through a dev retrospective blog post that came out today about the because the last Guild Wars 2 expansion just concluded, and we are about to start the next one actually next week, next Tuesday. They're announcing the next expansion and like what it's going to be and where we're going to go. So this is kind of their what they learned from this new expansion model that the last expansion introduced, which is yearly expansions with quarterly releases. So we're into this. You found a bug in your bed and now you can't sleep. Oh my god, no. No. That's great to hear, Metroid. Love it. All right, story. The conclusion of the Elder Dragon saga in Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons presented us with a unique opportunity to delve into a different kind of storytelling. We aimed to focus on deeper narratives grounded in the characters and the circumstances around the player character. However, with SOTO, our ambition led us to take on a broader scope than was feasible. We introduced a lot of new characters, and the plot was too complex for what can be reasonably handled within an annual expansion. In that let me finish the paragraph before I give my thoughts on that. We introduced a lot of new characters. Plot was too complex for what can be reasonably handled within an annual expansion. This left some character interactions feeling rushed and story threads unexplored. More isn't always better. I would say the scope of the core SOTO, the first release, was very broad. There was a lot of like new concepts. Here's what's interesting about SOTO. The the core SOTO had a lot of new ideas, and and um the scope was very broad, and there was a lot of things happening, a lot of really, really cool things and neat lore threads to explore and new characters. And I loved, how much there was to explore and how much there was to theorize on and how much like there was all these happenings, right? And it was all really good. And then the next three releases, as we went into Nios, I feel like then suddenly it was so simple. Big bad guy eating, big bad evil king must go kill. Like that was it. Like there was more story there. There was a deeper like story to the characters there, but I feel like it was very surface level explored. Like I feel like Eparch specifically, I feel like his story could have been so deep and so complicated and so like we could have fought Eparch really like feeling all of these complicated feelings for him. And that could like by learning about his story along the way, but the way it came across, like I felt like he was a complicated character, but it wasn't explored, and we like were, and everybody around us like the commander and Patha were just like, oh, big bad king must go kill. Like no, he's obviously way more complicated than that. He obviously had a he was getting chased by Mordremoth, and then he was rescued, and then he was betrayed and kicked out, exiled back to his kingdom, and he had these like complicated feelings about like the nature of Kryptis, and then he had someone who he cared about very much, and she loved him so much that she sacrificed herself. And yes, obviously I'm saying this because we did get this story, but I feel like it was all just very like told to us. Like it was told to us all these things about Eparch without any deeper exploration or showing of those aspects of him. And maybe yes, that's, and that's what they're saying, is that there wasn't enough time in this mini expansion, quote unquote, to explore that deeper. So they had to settle for simply telling it to you. And so when we went to fight him, I felt like he was still misunderstood. I wanted so bad for Eparch to be understood. Um, I feel like we knew nothing about him. We were told things about him, but we never actually got to see him. And then we killed him and he's dead. That's I think that's my problem. The beginning of SOTO, awesome, deep, broad. The second part was just like, go kill the big bad king. There was like this disconnect. Like Nios was just like raise army, kill king. Yay, everything's better. And there was no twist, there was no turns. Like I wanted to learn more. I felt like there was all of this surface level lore that I wanted it to go deeper into, and it just never did. I prefer to think my character is the commander, not the wayfinder. See, I even said commander. Yeah, I even said commander, not wayfinder, because we've been the commander for 10 years. And I don't mind them calling us the wayfinder. I don't mind that at all. I think that's neat because they're not our friends. When we go back home, Timey isn't going to call us the wayfinder. Timey's going to call us the commander because that's who we are to her, right? Um But at the same time, this kind of makes me a tiny bit fearful for the next expansion in the future if they think that it was too broad and too big, and too complex for a quote unquote mini expansion. Are they gonna dumb it down? for the next expansion. That's my favorite thing about Tyria and the Guild Wars 2 universe is the scope and depth of its lore. Is its lore is fascinating to deep dive into because it's so deep and it's so broad and it's so complex, and that makes it interesting. And it's lore that's been built up over 20 years, and they made this very deep, broad, complex story for SOTO, but didn't have enough time to really go into it. It felt rushed. It felt, especially Nyos, it felt very rushed. Like, okay, we got to get these things in. We got to raise the army. We got to go fight them. We only have 3 releases to do this, and it felt like that. And I think that was the problem. Because there was deeper lore there. We just didn't get a chance to go deep into it like the rest of the game. So I'm worried that, oh, we went too complex, so we're going to go simple. But at the same time, like, the whole Nyos part was so simple. It was so simple. It was like, here's, we go into Nyos, people, like, it was just such a stereotypical story. It wasn't like Guild Wars. It was like, Guild Wars has those very complicated feelings and those deep emotions. And yeah. Absolutely. And I'm saying this, yes, I imagine the rest of the blog post is going to talk about this. I'm just giving my thoughts so far. Um Izzy! Hi, Izzy! We just saw your tweet about the Tiltify feature. Thank you so much for that. I'm so excited to go look at it later. Um oh my gosh. Um I can't decide whether to have music or not. Sorry. Um Sorry, let me see what you guys thought. Season 4 was peak. Season 4, season 2 for me personally, season 2 and season 4 of Living World was amazing. So good. So good. Peak Guild Wars 2. Um yeah, that'd be interesting. They maybe the release window is flawed. I don't know. Oh, wait. There was genuine fear from Ramses towards Patha a couple of times during the story, like he misspoke and was scared. Oh, I didn't. I missed that little mood. That's very interesting. Hmm. I think what worked so well is the living world teed up the story for the upcoming expansion. Right, right. Right, the living worlds would end on, oh, this isn't good. And then the expansion is now we get to go fix it. Yeah, that's how the living worlds, that's how the early living worlds were. Um Icebird Saga only set up, they stopped doing the like nervous what's coming next. Um Season 1 ended with literally a cutscene of Mordramoth's mouth opening, but we didn't know it was Mordramoth. We saw Scarlet die, and then we saw the magic go to a dragon we didn't recognize, and like that, it was like, oh my god. And we got to theorize on that forever. What does this mean? Where are we going? Because we saw like kind of the jungle and stuff, right? So season 1 very directly led into, oh, that no then that led into season 2, which was like, um exploring that, learning about Mordramoth, building up Mordramoth, and then learning about we had an entire season. We had season 1 and season 2 to kind of learn about our new friends, Bram and Timey and Cass and Jory, and kind of hang out with them, build a relationship with them while we're kind of like learning about this lore. And then bam, we go into Heart of Thorns, which is going, let's go get the dragon, right? We spent all this time learning about the dragon and all of its mysteries. and how are we going to defeat it, and what does this mean for Tyria? Watching Tyria get slowly destroyed. The vines coming up, waypoints don't work because Mordremoth's vines came up and destroyed them, like things actually happening in the world. And then that leads up to, and then we go to the expansion, and we've had like all of this build up, and then we go on this journey through the jungle to get to the heart of Mordremoth and then to defeat Mordremoth. And it was so satisfying because there was that build up to Mordremoth. And then season three was a lot of like political stuff. Not real. Some of it was. I don't have the best recollection of season 3, but it led into Path of Fire. At the end of season 3, leading into Path of Fire, no, season 3 was about Balthazar going rogue, right? Season 3 was a little all over the place because it had the Bloodstone stuff. But no, season 3, literally the maps were all over the place. But season 3 was built up about the falling of the gods, right? Because like, wasn't it like the first or second episode of season 3 was when Balthazar went crazy and Casimir like freaked the hell out and like wouldn't even talk to Marjorie? Yeah, plus Aurene, like season 3 had White Mantle, Aurene, Jormag, well, it had a lot of stuff. Yeah, season 3 was all over the place, but it set a ton of groundwork for lore bits that would all come back and have payoffs. And it ended, season 3 ended leading into Path of Fire with Livia and the Eye of Janthier and literally the commander. I just watched it the other day. The commander going, guess I'm going to the Crystal Desert. And we were like, oh, we're going to the Crystal Desert and we know that Balthazar is there. Oh my God. And we just spent the whole season with like Balthazar. We're like, oh my God, Path of Fire, it's going to be about Balthazar. We're going back to the Crystal Desert. It was so exciting. And we had all of that build up and like watch it, like, oh my God, yes. Right. that was my reaction anyway. So it was like exciting because then we had so much to look forward to. Because we had this long build up. And then we went into the expansion, and then it was all about going through the desert, finding out all of it, meeting Cormyr, and, following Balthazar, literally dying, and beating Death and Joko, and, like, all this stuff, and then it ended with us beating Balthazar, and it was like, oh, and it was such a payoff, right? It was such a payoff. And then I think they started to and there was Kralkatorrik too, all throughout that. Kralkatorrik was eating all the magic, and so that just fed into all of the lore that we've been doing, because season 3 also went into like the lore with like Primordus and Jormag and the conflicting magics, and then Kralkatorrik was eating them all, so you had all these like overlapping layers of lore with like the dragons and the magic and the eternal alchemy, and what does it mean, and like us killing the dragons, is it bad? Like they started those seeds, and it was so good. I'm starting to realize that it's not just me with like, and I hate to say this, but like, I've been playing Guild Wars for like 20 years, and I've been playing Guild Wars 2 for like 10 years. And I've kept thinking that it's like, oh, well, I don't play this game every day anymore. I get less and less invested in the story and stuff. I'm always going to come back. I am just ArenaNet fangirl for life. But I'm like, it's just been like, it's because I've been playing this game for 10 years. I've moved on to other things, and I'll always come back to it, but I don't have that spark, that drive. Literally, I'm sitting here getting excited about content that came out 8 years ago because it was so good, And like, just remembering it gets me excited because it was so good. And that was the lore things that my brain got to do, and it was so exciting. The whole community like was just so like fascinated with this lore. That's what I've always loved about Guild Wars, is the lore is so good. It's so good. And it all one thing led into the next, and we were excited for the next release. And then season 4 was also super peak because it dealt with Kralkatorrik, and basically we didn't have to wait for another expansion for a dragon to be felled. And the finale of freaking season 4 would we go inside Kralkatorrik, and I'm like crying over the torment that this dragon has been in from eating all the magic, and it's just like breaking my heart. And we're riding on Aurene, and Aurene's helping us, and seeing her literal like grandmother be in pain and torment from all of the magic it's been forced to consume because we're killing the dragons. This is like peak story. This is so good. And the way they spread out the story and the way it was all portrayed was so good. It was so good and fascinating and well done in game. And so like then that led into what did that lead into? Then season 4, did season 4, when did Aurene ascend? Was that end of season no. Yeah, no. No, not ascend, but she became like the crystal dragon. Um so the end of season 4 ended with Aurene becoming like not an no, wait. I'm getting confused. Right, Icebird Saga is season 5. Uh the two dragons fighting, yeah, that was Icebird Saga. Season 4, right, so the finale of season 4 was when she became an elder dragon, but she was still around. So she became the crystal elder dragon, but she didn't like that didn't mean she was gone. She was still with us, but she became an elder dragon. She ascended, and just like that payoff, like we've literally raised her from an egg, and then she became an elder dragon. Like that payoff was just immense, and the cutscene was beautiful. She became Big Aurene. That's right. So like that didn't have really like a lead into something, but it was very much like we killed Kralkatorrik. We learned more about the happenings in Tyria, and there was still like a like, okay, what do we do now? Because we had like Joko saying, you know, you're killing the dragons, that's wrong, you're the enemy of Tyria, and yet we're creating this new elder dragon. And so there was still like story threads to go on, even though there wasn't like a direct lead in at the end of season 4, I don't think, to the Icebird Saga. So that was okay, because it was such a fantastic finale. I was so satisfied. Season 4 was so good. And then the Icebird Saga. And then the Icebird Saga. Like there was some of those same story threads, but then it was kind of like they introduced this whole new thing with the Char, and it was like, I don't know, it started Icebird Saga, and then the Icebird Saga started to feel a little disconnected from like everything kind of flowed up until that point. One story flowed into the next, into the next, into the next, and I think they realized they wanted to end the Elder Dragon thing, and like I don't know why they went with the whole like suddenly we're gonna shove all this Char politics and Icebird Saga stuff in here, but they did. And so it was like kind of this clunky step to the Primordus and Jormag fight, which I love. I think that was well portrayed. I think it was so cool. Yes, it was a little quick, but like I love that final instance. I think it was super epic. I really enjoyed it at the time, but it didn't leave us with a lead into the next expansion. I remember very clearly that leading up to Heart of Thorns, leading up to Path of Fire, there was this very direct lead in. There was this, okay, we're going to the jungle to fight Mordremoth. We're going to the Crystal Desert to fight Balthazar. At the end of the Icebird Saga, there was like kind of nothing. We didn't know where we were going. There was no, like, Maureen said she could like feel the magic going somewhere. Okay, the magic's always going somewhere. Like there was no exciting lead up. I remember finishing the Icebird Saga just kind of like, so what now? And it wasn't even though the Elder Dragon battle was epic. I don't know. It didn't leave me with a sense of satisfaction like the end of season 4. Even though season 4, and I'm kind of saying this out loud to try and figure out like why this is, like at the end of season 4 was such a finale. It felt like the ending of an expansion. It was so triumphant at the end when Kralkatorrik was defeated and Aurene ascended. It was so triumphant and beautiful and satisfying. The Icebird Saga also ended not really with a lead in, but it didn't feel satisfying. It was epic, but there was something unsatisfying about it. And I'm saying this trying to figure out why exactly that is. But either way, it still didn't lead into the expansion, which it really should have. You're going to get excited for an expansion and the answers that it's going to give, right? And I feel like this isn't something that would have to be like built from the ground up, to get us excited. Like when Aurene said, I remember Aurene saying that she felt the magic like from Primordus and Jormag dying, which is this massive amount of magic, right? That is then put into the other elder dragons, as we've been learning for a long time, and so we know this. She's saying a lot of that magic flew into me, but some of it went elsewhere. I remember her very specifically saying it went elsewhere, but there was nothing else to that. If she said like, I think it's flowing somewhere far, somewhere new, somewhere beyond the horizon, beyond the ocean. I feel it flowing to, I don't know, our mother. What if she had said, I feel it, because we didn't know about Suwan at that point. We knew there was a water dragon, but we didn't know about Suwan. But if she said, like, I feel it flowing, or maybe the magic, I don't know, I feel mother, or something like that. There's like, they could have added like one sentence that could have popped and been like, oh my God. It didn't have to be the Cantha reveal, because, and at that point we didn't know that Suwan was like this Canthan water dragon. I can understand if they wanted to save the Cantha reveal, because that was a big moment, was the Cantha reveal. So I can understand if it went to Cantha. Like, I can, even though that would have been a scream, lose my mind moment. Oh, was it already? Oh, we knew we were going to Cantha before the end of the Icebrood Saga, did we? It was announced a long time before EOD. Oh, we got the mortals are little flames, brilliant, hot, then gone. Oh, and the title screen, we got why did that come before the end of the Icebrood Saga? That didn't say the word Cantha, but we knew with that it was Cantha. Thank you, Jorxius. I'm a Guild Wars 2 nerd. I love it so much. Okay. March 12th, we knew we had gotten that trailer, but that trailer didn't say the word Cantha. So then, if that's the case, I don't remember the timeline either. If we had gotten the End of Dragons reveal before the end of the Icebrood Saga. Oh, I remember Anad putting that clip of Lena saying Cantha confirmed, right? Then they should have had like Aurene saying the word Cantha. I feel it flowing south, across, far away, far across the unending ocean to Cantha. We'd be like, Cantha, right? She said the word. That would, like, I don't know. But there was not, like I said, either way, in the game, there was like nothing. She just said, I feel the magic flowing somewhere. Okay, that wasn't, I'm going to the Crystal Desert, or I don't remember exactly the scene season 3 ended on, but like, we knew we were going to the jungle. Season 3's ending was freaking phenomenal. Season 3's ending, sorry, I'm just remembering. Season 3's ending was freaking the Heart of Thorns logo, but they didn't tell us it was an expansion, and we got to guess if Guild Wars 2 was going to get expansions. That was what it was. Was that season 2? I don't remember. Season 2. Yeah. Season 2. That's what it was. Sorry. You know what I mean. So yes, the ending of season 2 literally ended with that epic cutscene, which I'm adding to my top 5 favorite cutscenes. Where wasn't it like the pale tree or somebody, or Aurene or whoever, whatever, gets the vision of like that would be Aurene or whatever, gets the vision of like the pact getting destroyed, and like the jungle and the exalted, like the golden spires of Tarir, and um and all of this. And then uh right, we saw the pack destroyed because it was happening, right? And then Heart of Thorns started with the pact being destroyed in the jungle. um yeah, and then we saw the Heart of Thorns logo animate on the screen. Wasn't told it was an expansion. We assumed it was an expansion, but at that point there weren't expansions, and it was the first time we had seen Guild Wars 2 and the logo not be a red dragon, and the logo not be this, and we were like, what does it mean? What does it mean? And then they had the Pack South reveal, and that was so epic because there was this build up to what was coming, and it got us excited for more. Was it the Pale Mother? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Details. But there was this build up. There was this excitement. So there was like no real excitement in the game at the end of the episode leading to Cantha. That was all like outside the game, which trailers are amazing and reveals on live streams and stuff are amazing and I love it. But you need that like lead into when you're in game playing the product, right? You need that in the game and to end the episode with all of this excitement for what comes next. So then End of Dragons happened, and End of Dragons was amazing. It was really, really good. It ended beautifully, and because it was the end of the Dragon Saga, it's understandable that it didn't end uh with a direct lead in into what was to come next, because it was very much an ending as it was supposed to be. It was an end of the saga, an end of the arc. Um, but then we got like the trailer with like the Wizard's Tower, right? And so we got that stuff. People wasn't there like a post EOD update, and then like people noticed that the Wizard's Tower was missing, so we got these little hints in game about what SOTO was gonna be. And then we got the SOTO reveal, which was awesome. But like that was when like there was like a SOTO info dump uh out of nowhere. I remember being so confused because there was like 6 blog posts and then all the information about SOTO. We were like overwhelmed. Um, but in a good way, in a good way. But I was just like, oh my god, there was just like so much. All it was like this huge dump of here's what SOTO. Um, so SOTO was a new beginning, right? It was their new release cadence. Is a new, um, a brand new story. And maybe it's appropriate that we went off Tyria technically, um, for this new arc, for this new story. But then what's the next one going to be? Are we just going to go back to Tyria? Like, don't get me wrong, I love the uh having learned about the Wizard's Tower and the Wizard's Court and the Astral Ward and all of that was like answers to long time Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1 questions, which was so amazing. I haven't I haven't finished the blog post. So like that's what I'm curious to find out is um was SOTO meant to just end and not tell us where we're going and what we're doing? Like, there's no like excite there. The SOTO ended. It was an ending, but did it deserve that ending? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's not just me. It's not just me. Being like tired of Guild Wars 2 after 10 years. Your reaction to EOD was epic. You said I knew it, the end of the Dragon War. Yes. Yes. All right, let's read on. Let's read on. Man, sorry, that was a long rant. That was a long rant remembering like when this game was my everything. Yeah, there was man. Okay. Okay, so they acknowledged there was too much broader. SOTO was just too much, and we had limited time, and that made things feel rushed. And more isn't always better, and so they acknowledged that. We learned a lot from this experience and have a much greater understanding of story scale within our new release structure. For our next expansion, we're going to tell a more grounded story set in a new region of Tyria with more of a focus on local threats and the global conversation around those threats. I like it. Tyria, despite all its challenges, has continued to stir. While we leave Nios and the Cryptus to enjoy their newfound freedom, the story will pick up on some threads started in Guild Wars 2 SOTO, continuing with the Astral Ward arc, their moral ambiguity, and their relationship to Tyria. I love that. I love that. That's really good. Because we kind of learned, I like that, their moral ambiguity. Because we learned a lot about that in the core SOTO, because the fractals, they had the fractals. They were literally taking people from Tyria, putting people in these fractals and watching them, and like there's tons of moral ambiguity there. However, I thought that in the SOTO finale, they said that they were going to dismantle the fractals and they were going to stop doing that. So, and that was the biggest moral ambiguity of the Astral Ward. Are we going to explore how they simply observe and not help us? Because there Isgarin has the like non-interference unless absolutely necessary clause. Like, is that what we're going to explore? Because as I understand, the putting people in the fractals thing was like to me that's the most morally questionable thing that they do, but they said they were going to stop doing that. That was the impression that I got from whatever the talk, I think it was talking to people in that final instance. So yeah, I guess it would be that, which is odd because like in my opinion, they don't have a responsibility to help us. Like I know everybody was always like they were pissed at Isgarin, like why didn't you help us with the dragons? He's like, well, I figured it would you could handle it, and yeah, we did. So like, are we gonna get on him for that? Like, what is not, if it's not the fractals, is that the moral ambiguity? Because like, I don't think they have a like. Sure, they can help us, but like I don't think they're obligated to. If they just want to sit back and watch, they can. With great power comes great responsibility, but like that's I don't know, us judging them like you should help us. You're terrible if you don't. Sure, you can think that, but that's I don't know. I don't know. What else is there to, maybe there's more we don't know. Maybe we're going to dive into some other morally ambiguous things that the Astral Ward's doing. I don't know. You want to punch Isgarin? I loved Isgarin. I really like Isgarin. I think they tread a very good line between like his indifference due to his the long life that he's lived versus like, but he wasn't like standoffish necessarily. I don't know. I personally really liked his character. That morally gray antagonist. It would be cool if we do, now that we know him and now that we've helped him, if we asked him to help us with something in return and he said no. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Can they dismantle the fractals now that the wizards are aware of this? Some wizards may still want to explore those things and break away from the ward. Oh, that would be interesting. Kind of a war amongst the wizards who like some want to do this and some want to do that. There would have to be ones that are not uh faithful to Isgarin, because it seems like the entire Astral Ward just thinks the world of Isgarin and will do whatever he says. Like, oh well, we didn't interfere because Isgarin said not to. Like that's the impression that I got throughout SOTO. The core SOTO was that we'll just do whatever Isgarin says. So if there are defectors from Isgarin, yeah, and we have a wizard war, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. So this is very I'm very curious about this. I feel SOTO benefits story wise, but gameplay didn't. Gameplay feel a lot. I know that for the commander to feel disconnected and being that's my main thing with SOTO was that I felt very disconnected from everything that was going on, especially when we went into Nios. I felt like, why am I here? Besides obviously like the crypt, if the cryptists get into the wizard's tower, then and take that over, then they'll eventually go to Tyria. Like we were still protecting Tyria, but like going in there and having all these cryptist characters and this cryptist politics, and then like every expansion, every release, like another general showed up that died 5 minutes later, and it was like I felt like they were telling us more stories. They were trying to tell us more stories about these characters that showed up for 5 minutes than like our own, right? Like, what if the commander throughout, this isn't like a fix, but I just thought, what if throughout the command, like things in Nios reminded the commander of their friends? Oh, Timey would love this. Or, oh, this looks like the flower I once saw Casimir tell me about. Or, oh, I wonder if Marjorie, these kind of look like Marjorie's minions. Does Marjorie use minions? Necromancer minions. I wonder if, there's ever been like a Cryptus. You know what I mean? Libra. Hey, Libra. Um, Something like that, right? Like what if things in the dream realm, because anything kind of could have materialized there. She could have seen, I don't know, something that that the commander wonders, because that if that was inspired by one of her friend's dreams. What if there's like a an arrow stuck in, some in a something that resembles a tooth, and she's like, I wonder if they got that from Bram's dream, right? Like what, like, right, exactly. Oh my god, I think the commander said two sentences in the last uh release. That was the thing. The commander throughout the SOTO um releases said less and less and less. She was like Kyrie. It was just like, you said 10 words in this whole release. It was like, why were we even there? Like, are we even there? Are we even having an impact besides our sword? Right? But if like the commander was commenting on things, like when we walked into the reliquary and saw all of the like strung up cryptists, like, I don't know. Oh, I'm glad that Marjorie's not here because it might have reminded her of Belinda, right? Like these callbacks and stuff. Like, oh my God, sprinkling those in, I would have been like, oh, I forgot about Belinda, right? Like reminding you, because we were in the dream realm, so it could have been literally anything. They could have literally leaving anything in there, and it could have reminded us of our friends and made us homesick. Oh, that would have been so good. That would have been so good. Now I'm mad. ArenaNet, hire me. Oh, and then when we do get to go back and see them, we've been reminded of them throughout our journey. Ah, that would have been so good. That would have tugged at our heartstrings in this place where we don't belong. We don't belong in Nios. We don't belong in Nios. It's not our fight. We're there simply so that they don't take over Tyria. And that would have been like our lifeline, right? That would have been like our connection home and make us homesick. And as players, make us homesick. I hope they're okay. We were given that little phone, right? So like you can call and leave a message. Literally never touched it. Literally never touched it. Never called home. Never got to like, let's see if, I mean, granted, it like as soon as we got to the Wizard's Tower, it was like, oh, our phone doesn't work. have the commander keep trying, and maybe she almost gets through. Like, what? I loved that in the first instance. And then it was like, just as soon as we got to the Wizard's Tower, oh, it broke. Like, maybe they'll bring it back once we get back to Tyria. But, like, what was that? Just a device to show us that everybody's off having their own adventures without us, I guess. To show us that we're alone and restless. Give me emotional damage. Exactly. Like, at the end of update 2, oh, Zoja did call Timey. Yes, she did. Why didn't we call Timey? Right. That was kind of neat. I liked that. Zoja's like, hey, I talked to Timey. Yeah, that was good. Okay, so there was like one thing. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of temporary characters that were introduced and died. Maban, the Queen, Eparch, his generals. Exactly. There were so many characters that died after 5 minutes, and like we were supposed to feel for them. The only one I felt for was the Queen. Like we got, we got 5 minutes with her, but she was very well done in that final instance because I felt how much she cared about him. That was a really good thing. Um, yeah, Maban. We got a little more than 5 minutes with Maban, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but like when Maban died and and Zoja was all upset about it, I did not. I was not feeling it. I was not feeling it. Like, don't get me wrong, they told us, I think that's the thing about SOTO. They told us a lot of things. They didn't show us a lot of things. They told us all about how Zoja and Maban were friends and he rescued her, and they told us tons about their relationship. They didn't show us anything about their relationship. We didn't like get to walk in on a scene where Zoja was telling Maban in a tender, quiet moment about her fears, and you get to see him comfort her. We were told that that's how their relationship was. So when he died, I was like, oh, they told me about this. Uh-huh. Okay, she's sad. Okay. Yeah, they told me how much Maban meant to her. They never showed me tender moments with them together. And maybe that's what they're saying, is that we tried too much and we didn't have enough time to put all that in. So right. That should have been the cutscene, is Zoja and Maban together. Yeah, you're welcome, Jartrana. Yeah, yeah, I'm giving my honest thoughts, and we wouldn't even be talking about this right now if Guild Wars 2 didn't mean so much to me. Um, that's the that's the thing you got to understand, because you can watch critiques and think, like I started watching the Lightbringers episode, and there's a lot of criticism given to the game, but it's criticism that wouldn't be given if we didn't care about the game so much. If we didn't care about this story and this lore so much, that's why we're talking about it. Um, of course, it all has to be done respectfully and constructively. But we get passionate about it, and want it to be good and want to get excited about it because we love it. Um, so that's what you got to remember through all this. Underdark. Oh, look, Lazarus, the last Mersat. Nope, it's Balthazar. Oh, look, Lazarus, the last Mersat. Let's kill it. Oh, look, Maban, the actual last Mersat. Let's kill him. we didn't kill Maban. Maban's death is a good example of how they weren't dealing with the new release schedule well. His death feels like it should have been in the second or third release. Yes, but he had to be dead, so things got desperate enough for us to rescue Isgarin, and he had to be rescued by the end of the first release so we could meet Patha, and if there are more episodes in time, the pacing could be improved. Right. Something else you have to remember is one of the reasons they're meeting these is, okay, Isgarn has to be rescued by the end of the first release, and Patha has to be introduced here, so that means that Mabon has to die here. Unfortunately, one of the reasons for that is gameplay, is because they had to introduce the Nyos map over 3 releases. So those 3 releases had to be in Nyos. So the Wizard's Court and Omnitas had to be complete and done in core so that they could then, the next releases were in Nyos. That's the problem. But I think it could have been handled. The entirety of the second 3 releases didn't have to be in Nyos, and I think some of it, I think the beginning of there were like the first instance was in the Wizard's Tower and set up why we're going to Nyos. But then, like, that stuff still could have happened. Mabon could have died in Nyos, right? Like, he could have come with us to Nyos and died there, right? And then Zoja decides to go batshit on Epark, right? And then we've had some time, we've had a couple releases, not only in-game time, but real world time to fall in love with Mabon. And learn more about him and see those tender moments between him and Zoja. And then 2 releases in, when Mabon gets killed, Zoja goes crazy, and then we're feeling it like, oh my god, and Zoja's just like, I'm gonna go kill Epark, as she runs off because Mabon just died. And instead of going into just depression and memory wiping, she goes crazy and she's like, I need to go kill Epark. And we're like, no, we have to make a plan. We have to go talk to Isgar and see if he'll, we don't have enough troops just in Nyos. We need to go talk to Isgar. And she's like, no, I'm going. And she runs off, and it's like, oh my god, now we gotta go save Zoja. And like, so Zoja could have been that like wild card in Nyos that kind of connects us with outside of Nyos. And like, right, they could have released maps but saved the story for other releases. Right. The commanders of Mersat. Everyone's like, everybody's a Mersat. We're all Mersat. Yeah, so like there's ways the pacing could have been much different. So I got the meta events. I guess the meta events in each map were very enjoyable. The meta in Omnitas, the meta in Nyos are epic, very well done in my opinion. Like story wise, visual wise, epic wise, I think the metas are awesome. I enjoyed the story and the mechanics and stuff of the meta in the first area as well. Yeah, the Lear and Mabon meta is great. Absolutely, Talus. Yes, that's why I'm so glad they're doing this retrospective and looking back on what worked and what didn't with that. The Nyos meta is long. It is long. Yeah. I enjoyed it, but it could have been shortened a bit. But again, that's releasing a map in 3 parts. I haven't completed the Nyos meta yet. I did it, but we failed because it was like day 1. Anyway, map design. Moving on from story. You like the spider epi boy battle? Crab epi. First 2 metas, not so much. Oh no, the first the first 2 in Nyos were the first one I didn't get at all. It was just like running things like from one end of the map to the other. That one I didn't get. The second one ended with that dragon fight in the Coliseum, right? That was cool, just because the dragon was epic. And then the last one where you actually like go into the castle, that was really cool. And then ended with it took a little long to get there, but once you get to um Lobster Epark, it was very good. The Cryptus in the Omnitas meta reminds me of Abaddon. Basically just a big head with tentacles. That's another problem, Samus. Um a lot of the final map metas have that problem, as far as the story is that because Heart of Thorns had this big problem too, where like you really should like have to do the map meta to finish the story because it's like half of the story, or a huge support lore behind the story instance. Yeah, head tentacles. Too much stairs in the last meta. Okay, map design. In SOTO, we delivered 3 new open world maps. The first two, Omnitas and Skywatch Archipelago, came with the expansion's launch in August 2023. The third map, Inner Nios, was released with the first quarterly update in November 2023 and was then expanded on in our second and third quarterly updates with new playable space and event content. After extensive adventuring in Internios in recent months, it's clear that using a single map as the main focal point for 3 releases is not ideal from a player or developer standpoint. Exactly what I said. Yes. Our decision to do so originally stemmed from production constraints and overlapping development timelines between expansions, but we've since identified some ways to mitigate those issues, both in terms of release structure and process improvements. Excellent. I literally said that. Okay, good. For our next expansion, our first 2 maps will be released at the expansion's launch just as they did in SOTO. However, the final map will arrive in the second quarterly update and be expanded upon in the third, meaning it will be expanded on for 2 total releases like Bajora Marches and Drizzlewood Coast. Not only does this give our team a bit more time to develop the third map, it also means that the story during the next expansion cycle will better leverage all 3 maps and take you back to familiar areas from your past adventures. That is fantastic. Love it. While the first quarterly release after the expansion's launch won't include the wait, I started reading it, but my brain was not processing the words. While the first quarterly release after the expansion's launch won't include the third open world map of the expansion, as it did with SOTO, there will be plenty of new content to keep you busy in that time frame in terms of story, open world content, and encounters. That's good. I know this is a little vague. Again, check back next week, but rest assured that first quarterly release will include something really exciting that players have been requesting for over 5 years. Interesting they say 5 and not 10. What happened? Okay, brainstorm time. What happened 5 years ago? Housing. No, shut up. No, shut up. Was guild halls 5 years ago? Hasn't been 5 years since a raid. Has it been 5 years since another raid wing? No. I know guild halls weren't hot. I don't remember. Was hot how many years ago? No, hot was like 8 years ago. Okay, so it's not housing because people were asking for housing since guild halls. Oh, raids? Another raid wing?
We finally get unsubs.
Ah, Fog's been asking for. No, you've been asking for unsubs for 10 years. So, this Friday, by the way, is my 10-year stream anniversary. We haven't gotten any new raids since they started strike missions. Whoa, another raid. It has to be. It has to be a raid. I didn't do the last one. I think there's one raid wing I've never done. Because I raided hardcore for years and years and years. Like the first, how many wings are there now? Is there are there 7? So I think I've done 6 of them. There's 7. The last one I did was the Zomoros one. Which one was that? Ooh, Abaddon raid. I don't know how, like, what percentage of players did raids. They've made raids a lot more accessible now. There's like a rotating, like, they rotate which raids. There will be like a, not an easy mode, but like you can kind of do it and get like a buff that helps you through it, and it like lowers the difficulty. Josh said in an interview they got something pretty nice for end game PvE. Okay. Okay, it has to be a raid then. Something really exciting players been requesting for over 5 years. See, that makes that wording makes it sound like something new, like Cantha, not just another raid, right? Or I guess it's just like the return of raids, right? I can't believe it's been that long. It has to be raids then, which is great. Which is great. Raids are fantastic. I had so much fun. Emboldened, that's what it's called. There will be an emboldened like buff that you get, which makes the raids easier, because the raids are extremely difficult, as they should be. So it kind of gets like, it's like on a rotating easy mode. Underwater zones, solo mode for raids, basically story mode. That'd be really cool. Though people have been asking for that since raid launch, so that's not what they're doing. Right, right. The raids tell stories. Yeah, I'm so glad that I've experienced raiding in Guild Wars 2. They're so satisfying. I just don't have like the dedication anymore. Um, but they know only a fraction of players use raids, so you don't. Well, I mean, a fraction of players use anything except just like open world maps. Unless it's like alliances finally releasing. Um, it has to be raids. Yeah, no, if it, I got really excited at first thinking it was player housing, but we've been asking for that since Heart of Thorns. So it's not that. If they, it's so interesting that they say that they put the 5 years in there. Oh my God, Saul and Deimos and Doom was so hard. Oh my God, we almost, our group almost quit on Doom. Doom took us so long to defeat. It was one of those like, because like if you work on, because we weren't like the top players who were defeating the raid in like the first day, right? We took weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to some months to defeat a whole raid, and it was so satisfying when you finally did it. But Doom was one of those that took us so long that we were just getting disheartened, like demoralized, like, and by the time we finally beat him, instead of like the joy that normally comes with finally defeating a raid boss, it was more just like relief. Like, oh, thank God we can stop doing this. Cause like no one wanted to quit. Like we wanted that achievement of completing the raid wing, right? And it was just like, finally we can, I have it. It was like, it took so long. So, okay. Okay. They shouldn't hide essential story behind raids. I've been waiting for the conclusion of Saul's story for over 15 years. Um, yeah, which is like, I know they did the they do there's the emboldened raids now, so it makes raids a lot more accessible to a lot more people. And I haven't personally done an emboldened raid, but I hear that it's really good. Like it, the system works very well. Hey, what's up, Bog? And Bog quit raiding during our do. Did you? Did you quit? We were ready to quit. Yeah, Bog and I, and of course 8 other people. Well, more people. We rotated out as people weren't available. But yeah, we raided for many years, and it was so much fun. But yeah, that Doom. Oh, Doom just, that was a tough fight. A very cool fight, but a tough one. It took us forever. Um And then I did the one after that, the Zomoros one, and I believe we cleared it. Um, so I guess that was Raid Wing 6. And then 7 I never did. I don't think I even ever even like watched the story of 7. I don't even remember. Wasn't it more Zomoros? Wasn't it more like what was Raid Wing 7? Didn't quit because of Doom. I just didn't have the time anymore. Yeah. Well, because Doom took us so long. It took us so long. It was like, okay, well, go do other stuff, right? Yeah. Um, Kadim. Okay, so it was still kind of the uh the Jin stuff. It was more Jin's like focused. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that I think I walked into it once. Yeah, Kadim. That's right. I remember that. Okay. Wing 7 after Kadim falls into the Mystic Forge and flees. Okay. Oh man, feel better, Fog. I'm so sorry. Yeah, get some rest. Take care. Oh, yeah, we haven't watched the trailer yet. Ah, okay. Features. MMOs are made up of numerous gameplay systems and content types, each with a different role to play in the game experience. As games go on, they tend to accumulate more and more systems and features from expansions and the like, which is fine if there's effort put into maintaining and updating those systems. Looking back over the game's history, I think this maintenance and upkeep is one of the areas where we've fallen short, at times, even falling into the trap of releasing new features for the sake of releasing new features, even if they overlap with something that already exists. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. This is something we've been referring to internally as putting a hat on a hat. Oh. Oh, it's true. Oh. Bravo for the admission. Yeah. Yeah. Guild Wars 2 does that a lot. Hatception. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Because you want to say the fancy new name. You want to say, oh, fractals, where you already have dungeons. And, fractals are basically scaling dungeons, right? But you want to say fractals because it is a different thing, right? But then you have like strike missions and it aren't convergences basically strike missions? Like are those I literally don't know if I've ever done a conversion. Um I don't think I've even done all the strike missions. I know I haven't done all the strike missions. Um right. So, yeah, dragon response missions and yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, convergences are 50-man content. I actually didn't know that. Ah. See, I didn't even know that. Sorry. Over the last 2 years, we've put much more of a focus on upkeep and iteration of systems and avoiding unnecessary bloat where possible. We put more of a focus on maintaining live game systems, and with SOTO, pardon me, coffee burps. We've even went to the extent of entirely reworking existing features to make room for more modernized solutions. The Wizard's Vault is a good example of this strategy working out well for us. Yeah, yes, the Wizard's Vault is fantastic. And you can expect to see a new system being introduced in Expansion 5 that adds a meaningful new way to spend your time in Guild Wars 2 while using this as an opportunity to greatly improve the player experience with related existing game systems. That's fantastic. Love to hear it. It's interesting how they say like we put a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat, and then they're like, expect a new system. It's like, wait, you just literally said stop adding stuff. But no, so I'm expecting it's kind of a rework. It's a new system, but like the Wizard's Vault was a rework of dailies, right? And monthlies and now like quarterlies, right? So I guess a rebuild of another, system that's already in the game. What do you think that could be? Um, the achievement system? The achievement interface, at least, which there's nothing wrong with it. Um, but I could see ways to make it more appealing, like they did with the Wizard's Vault. Wizard's Vault is fantastic. A fantastic upgrade to dailies. Right, achievements. Well, you can make kind of a quest log with the achievement panel because you can pin. You can like pin the ones that you're working on and it'll show up on the side, kind of like a side quest. You know, here's my little side quest that I'm working on. Right. Yeah. So you can already do that. You've been able to do that for a long time. But I've heard people say that the achievement like interface is like not the easiest. I think it works. I think it's fine, but it's bloated. Um, there could be a way to rework it better. Just like, you know, the daily system before was fine, but they made it more appealing. They made it better with the Wizard's Vault. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey. Bork. Skipper agrees. What else? I wonder what other system adds a meaningful new way to spend your time in Guild Wars 2 while using this as an opportunity to improve the player experience with related existing game systems. Guild halls? A more use for guild halls? It's very vague, but like I'm trying to extrapolate what that could mean. Make one experience bar and let you pick the features you want. You mean instead of like the mastery system? Nah, the mastery system's fine. It will, in a similar matter, like transforming dailies into the Wizard's Vault. Read more and watch the trailer. Yes, I know. I like theorizing. I like guessing. It's enjoyable. Um, Overall, we were a bit conservative with features in Guild Wars 2 SOTO, trying to strike the right balance between the scope, schedule, and risk while navigating a new content structure. We've ironed out a lot of the kinks here, and it's allowed us to be a bit more ambitious with our next expansion. Next week can't come soon enough. More ambitious. Ah, yes. Better. Oh my God, guild missions. Remember guild missions? It could be guild missions. Oh man. Remember guild missions? Man. There's something leaving the water. Such a tease. We close out one of our recent blogs, which introduced the cosmetic inspection feature and recapped some of the quality of life changes that have gone into the game thanks to the development approach we took with SOTO, with a screenshot preview of an area you'll discover in our next expansion. We thought today would be a fun opportunity to build on that, so I'll leave you with an additional environment preview. Thank you! Yay! Little tidbits to get excited. All right. All right. All right. Water! And I saw everybody shouting about Landspear. Ooh, look how pretty that is. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Reminds me of Norn. Oh, Guild Wars 2 expansion reveal June 4th. Oh, is it gonna be blue? Is the color, I kept thinking the color was gonna be purple. Is it gonna be light blue? Oh, sorry. Hold on. I was gigantic for that. Sorry. I did not mean to be. Yeah, I saw people on Twitter this morning screaming Landspear. So I wonder if oh my God, our spears and tridents and harpoon guns gonna come to land? Are we actually gonna get new land weapons? That's wild. That's wild. So love that stand. Look how pretty! Look how pretty this is. Look like the rainbow. over here, like coming off the waterfall. The lighting in this is so pretty. Is this doing my no, not auto? Premium enhanced bitrate. Yeah, there you go. That's so pretty. I'm guessing Janthier, Verdant Cascades makes the most sense for this area. Oh my god, freaking land spear. I hope it works like a javelin. I've always wanted javelins like a Paragon in Guild Wars 1. That's beautiful. So, like, wild. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my god. So, okay. So, what is this? So, okay. So, tell me the theories. Tell me what people are talking about. This looks very, like, Norn to me. But this looks very, like, almost Cantha. Like, this looks like Asian. And this looks like, it looks like a blend. Like, there's. And my axe. Looks like Kryda to you? The landscape looks like Kryda. Yeah. And of course, after the SOTO finale, before this, a lot of people were guessing Isles of Janthier. Because like the Eye of Janthier was in the instance with Eparch watching. And then Livia like said that she was going back to Tyria. Good night, Jazabel. My first thought was Tengu. And this down here may be Tengu, but like yeah, at first I was like, oh, a Tengu area, but like we saw the Tengu villages in Cantha, so it's not like that's new. Like I'm wondering if this is new, or is this like a new race, or like are these just like, these are Tengu. This is like so out here in the woods. I can only think that this is like they're very like outside of society. They're living in the woods, right? There's something. It says it's called "There's Something Leaving the Water." Oh my god, that's the spear. That's the underwater weapons. That's the underwater weapons. We're gonna get the underwater weapons on land. That is wild. I really hope Guardian gets spear. My guess, because there's three of them, right? My guess is because there's three weapons. Three classes are gonna get the spear. Three are gonna get the harpoon gun, and three are gonna get the trident. Right? That's makes sense that they would do it like that. Um, God, I hope Guardian gets spear. The water dudes from Zelda, the Zora. You think this is Zora's domain? No, they don't use hay. Someone you know wrote the title to that video. No, I know. Yes, Bog, because it's there's something in the water, right? It's there's something leaving the water. It's brilliant. Bravo. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 on the title. Guardian will get spear gun. No, I don't want spear gun. I don't think I've ever equipped the pistol on my Guardian. Ugh! Mitchum said Utopia. No, shut up. Shut up. No. And when I say no, I mean yes. Prelude to what is Zoteca? Zoteca Utopia stuff? Looks like Mayan or tribal stuff. Yeah, yeah, it looks very like because we're seeing like this little village out here in the wilderness, right? So it looks very separated from like society. But if it is like Janthier, we don't know much about like the Janthier area, right? Like we been there? Did we go wait, did we go there in Guild Wars 1? I don't remember. Oh my goodness. You think it might be Luxons? Well, Luxons who left and continued to be Luxons because like aren't Luxons and Kurzik's not a thing anymore? At least as like big cultures. Like there might be a couple stragglers. Can you imagine releasing an Aztec Mayan theme expansion the same summer as Dawn Trail? No! And you can't! Oh no! Or is that the strategy? Ah, it'll come out 2 months after Dawn Trail, right? Yeah, I know Dawn Trail's got the Aztec stuff. You can't overlap with that. Oh no. You can't do that after Dawn Trail releases. Oh no. Um this doesn't look Aztec to me though. This here is way different than this up here. Actually, this looks like this looks like a hodgepodge. This is different architecture than this, which is different architecture. I can't say that word, architecture, as this. There's like 3 different like styles here. It's like a mashup. What if this is like they got teleported here like out of time, like what if this is a result of the wizards taking the people out of the fractals and giving them a place to be in Tyria, but because they've been taken out of society, they're putting them like in the wilderness to just live together. I'm going off the deep end now. I don't know. High synchrony, more fractals. More fractals. It was so confusing calling them fractals. I was so confused in core SOTO for so long. I was like, wait, they created the fractals? I thought like Glenna created the fractals. I'm so confused. And like, it was not told to me that it was like that the floating islands were called fractals. You all had to tell me. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, she made the fractals of the mists that like we're going into, and y'all were like, no, the floating islands are called fractals. I was like, they are? What? I was so confused. Dessa, sorry. My mind defaults to Glenna because I used Glenna as a name for one of my D&D characters. Well, the underwater thing is that it looks like the underwater weapons are coming to land, which is awesome. They said somewhere, it's weird. It was said somewhere, but it was very missable, yeah. Looks like Old Lion's Arch. Ooh. Evil Quaggan wizards. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, that's the weird part, is it's 3 different styles of buildings. It's beautiful though. It's beautiful. All the waterfalls, like the elevation. It's gorgeous. Looks like Rivendell. All right, we're gonna be here next Tuesday, y'all. Next Tuesday, Guild Wars 2 day, and this I'm gonna sneeze. This excites me because it looks like a light blue color. I think the like color of the logo in the next expansion is going to be like a light blue. Maybe it will have water. Maybe there will be like underwater. I mean, obviously there's going to be some underwater, but like, what if there's like a significant amount of like underwater stuff? They're going to be like, see, everybody always dunks on underwater combat. I've always thought the underwater combat in Guild Wars is amazing. I don't know why people hate on it. I truly don't. I think the rainbow waterfall is connected to Bifrost. Yes. Spear gun can't have a piranha on land. Then it'll have to be like a hawk will come down instead. Maybe we'll finally meet this deep sea dragon. Synchrony, you are too late. Maybe there will be a baby dragon. Yeah, haunted. Oh, yeah. Yeah, certainly the best underwater combat I've experienced in a game. It may not be like perfect. I don't know why I keep showing that at the end. I certainly don't have any problems with it. I hope they stick to the X of Y titles for the story arc, like how we had A of B for the Dragon Saga. Oh, interesting. As opposed to the underwater combat in real life. That's right. That's right. That's why I think it's so amazing, because in real life, when I do underwater combat, it's nowhere near as easy as Guild Wars 2. Of course, I'm not really using a harpoon gun. I'm using like little water floaties. Not good for combat. I fight fish every day. Joko's coming back and he'll become the true Ignatius. Joko as an elder dragon. There you go. This is so pretty. Ooh, and I love like forests and stuff and water. The sound of the waterfall is so good, so pretty. This is like zen. This is like very zen. Very like, I want to go here and just relax. KH3 underwater combat is better. No. No. It's so hard to control. Maybe that's a controller thing though. I think that's a controller thing. I fish fight the seafood. Yeah, at the store. Ooh, I love this color. This makes me wonder about the water though. It's similar to the EOD color. See, I kept thinking that the next expansion was going to be, the color was going to be purple, because we haven't had like a purple expansion. Path of Fire was like maroon, magenta purple, but more like magenta, because they couldn't make it like red, like the core, right? Because the core game it has the red color, so they couldn't make it red for Path of Fire, so they like put a magenta in there, also for like Krakatorik. So they kind of did a blend, but they haven't had like a bright purple expansion. This makes it look like it's going to be blue, which is similar to End of Dragons, but End of Dragons was like an aqua. It was like an aqua and a blue. This is kind of like blue and blue. And I love it because that's like my favorite color, one of my favorite colors. Right, for Suwon water as well as the jade, right? And they couldn't make it green. They couldn't make it green because of Heart of Thorns was like green. It's like, what colors? Kind of blend the colors. They need the pink expansion. The magical Guild Wars 2 magical girl expansion. Oh, I don't count Iceberg Saga. Iceberg Saga kind of had a logo. It was kind of like, because Living World has a logo. There's a very specific logo for Living World, and I think it kind of changes color depending on like the season. And then I think so I think I could be wrong. Oh, for the mastery point, the color of the mastery points. Okay, I was thinking exclusively logos. Yeah, so Living World has a logo, but it doesn't have like a color. Like for Iceberg Saga, I think it was like red and blue because of Jormag and Primordius. Guild Wars 2 Magic of the Moon. Yeah, oh, Batala said like the Dragon Saga's expansion was like just the of in between Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, End of Dragons, and then SOTO was Secrets of the Obscure. So Tala said, what if this new arc keeps the of the? That'd be interesting. I'm not expecting it to keep the of the, but definitely the of. The word of has to be in the Guild Wars 2 expansions. It could have been just Secrets of Obscure, But then the thing SOTO is a lot easier to say than Spear of the Paragons. SOTP. So you have to. That's the thing. You have to be able to say it. You have to be able to say it. The acronym has to be like pronounceable. For End of Dragons, you do see EOD. It's not like Hot and Poff. You're never gonna beat Hot. Guild Wars 2 Hot, never gonna beat it. Right, we managed with EOD. We just call it EOD. SOTO is great. That's just Guild Wars 2 SOTO. That rolls off the tongue. Secrets of the Obscure doesn't. That's a little long and a lot of syllables. But SOTO is that's wonderful. Never gonna beat Hot. Never gonna beat Hot. So and that is a thing that they consider. That is a thing that they take into account. Is what is the acronym? Soup. Secrets of Obscure People. No. IBS was unintentionally appropriate. No, you can't say what we're all thinking. Okay. Oops. Do, 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 do. That's what I wanted to do. There we go. Oh, wait, how? This is. Why is this doing that? That makes me don't like it. Here, let's see if this will work now. See Guild Wars 2 Secret Otters and Peaches soap. There it is. There it is. Guild Wars 2 expansion bundle, Pop and Lock. Yes. Party of Peaches and Legend of I don't know. Something. God, Canthons of the Deep. Well, then it would be Kods. We need the T's not in there because for SOTO, the T was in there, so the T would have to be in there. See, people were thinking like Isles of Janthier. What would that be? Ioj? IOJ? Guild Wars 2 IOJ? I mean, we'd get used to saying it just like EOD. Rise of the Isles! I like that. But what would that be? Roadie? Guild Wars 2 Roadie? Winds of Janthier. Waj. Okay. Winds of Janthier. I like that. Waters of Janthier? I still like Guild Wars 2 Pop and Lock. Jodge Janthier of Janthier. But are they gonna do the of the? See, I don't know, and I don't know if this could be Janthier. I think Janthier is like an island to the north? Interior? Rangers deserve land spears more than any class. Ranger could do... I don't think Trident would fit Ranger. I don't think Trident would fit Ranger, but like, I think the Harpoon Gun. Well... Yeah, or the Spear. Spear if you throw it. Ranger should not use guns. It's a ranged weapon. Everyone gets pistols. Everyone's getting the harpoon gun. Right, rangers are just like, they're hunters, right? Not necessarily. Beast under the tyrant. There's no of in there. Is that... No! You were just trying to spell butt. Guild Wars 2 butt. What if we're wrong and this is Kryda and the place we're seeing now is Centaur territory? Could be. The most intriguing thing is those 3 different types of buildings. Like, what's the story there? Like, is it one race that takes influence from other races and cultures to make their buildings? Or is it... I think it's more likely that it's separate races living together, but they all built their own style of building? It's odd. That's why it makes me think of, since apparently we're still going to be dealing with the Astral Ward, what if this is another place that the Astral Ward was experimenting with? Good try, RJ. Oh, what about that? And that would kind of lead from the Astral Ward story. Because if it was saying that we're going to deal with, like, the morality, the dubious morality of the Astral Ward still, right? So what if this is a place on Tyria that they were experimenting on people? Because the fractals are separate islands of different races and locations, right? That they can, like, observe. What if this is somewhere on Tyria, maybe even like an older, maybe they started experimenting on Tyria, took this way out of the way place that they didn't think anybody would ever catch them or find these people, put the different races together. Maybe they're seeing how different races, like, live together and interact. What's coming out of the water? Is it the Leviathan? No, it's spears. Underwater weapons are coming out of the water. Ooh, what if Maban built, like, a secret rescue village, was, like, rescuing people maybe from the fractals? Ooh, interesting. Putting them back on Tyria. I'm picturing Bog lurking and going, okay, they said that theory and that theory, but our secret's safe. I know, right? You wonder what it's like, you know, oh, that's totally wrong, totally out there, or like, you know, oh, she's close, she almost got it, or like, oh my god, that's exactly it. Because, like, I especially heard a lot from, not a lot, but like a couple times from Tom Abernathy, that, like, he's like, Peachy, your predictions were, like, wildly, like, right on. Like, when I predicted that Bram was going to be the Primordius champion, it was like, you just got that right on. You just, like, I was like, Bram's going to be the Primordius champion, Ryland's going to be the Jormag champion, and they're going to fight. She's like, oh my god, like, you got it exactly. Cutie Casimir, I love your name. Do you think we'll ever see the old characters return? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They better be right alongside us in this expansion, because I think that was a huge mistake in SOTO, was like barely even mentioning them. Yeah, we know we're going, like, back to Tyria. So it would be silly for us not to, you know, not all of them. You know, I hope we catch up with all of them, but like, we're not going to be traveling with every single person. That's just too much. But you know, some of them, yeah, probably Taimi and Goric, I would hope, or at least one of them, because they would be, like, wanting to explore and learn about whatever we're doing, right? Or Livia? What if Livia? Ooh, what if Livia becomes, like, one of our kind of, like, party members? I think that's very likely. You're tired of the old squad. No, see, they're our friends. I miss them. And SOTO proved that too many new characters is a bad thing. It's overwhelming. And there's no time to tell all of their stories enough to really care about them. Like, I mean, of, like, the Wizard's Court, the only character I really, like, care about, I guess, is Isgarin, because, besides Zoja. Basically, the characters that we already know, right? Zoja, and, is Garin, even though we've just met him for the first time, we've known of him for 10 years. So thus, I think that makes him a little more interesting to me. But like, other than that, like, I like all of the characters. I like them. But am I like invested and need to know more of them about them? I would like to, but I'm not like personally emotionally attached to them like I am the crew we've been with for 8 years. Oh my god, imagine if Livia acknowledges our Guild Wars 1 character. That'd be amazing. Ramsey's not going to join us. Ramsey's is, I think he's going to hang out in the Wizard's Tower, because he's the envoy for the Cryptus, for Nyos. SOTO must be like what new players felt when they were dropped from MSQ directly into Season 2. Oh my god. Yes! Yes! Wow! Synchrony, great observation. Makes me really happy we got Season 1 now. Wing, the fishies! Yes, the fishies! This video's, this teaser for the next expansion is literally called There's Something Leaving the Water. I love Urchic and Gladium, but I'm not like emotionally attached to them. The 5 minutes that we got with them. No. They're great. I love them. Quaggin, playable race. MSQ is main story quests. So your personal story. Yeah, it's a 14. People in Final Fantasy 14 use that term. When can we go into the water? No, of the, out of the water. Wait, out of, there's something leaving the water. Out of the water. Oh, Otwa. Oat of the, of water. The, shoot. Okay, so if it's of the, then to have a good acronym, the last letter either has to be like an H or a vowel. Under the sea. Guild Wars 2 under the sea. No, it has to have the word of. It has to have the word of. Out of the sea. Out of the sea. Oots! Oots! Guild Wars 2 Oots! Got it. Of Quaggin and Norn. Guild Wars 2 Oots. I'm calling it. Oh my god. Welcome back, Jartrada. Out of our mind, yes. No, but seriously. Okay. So are these races we know? They're all like vaguely familiar. I like how this looks kind of like an open pavilion. This very much reminds me of Norn, but it's not like something we've seen exactly, right? Look at this little round door. It's like a Hobbit. I love the like round door and the round like buildings and like the colors on here. And then you've got like the kind of like Asian architecture here, the like kind of Canthan but not Canthan, almost like old world Canthan. These are very like older buildings. This is like kind of like Viking, right? So like Norn. This is like, so it's like kind of like the races Interia, maybe like ancient versions of the races Interia that never like joined society, like ancient Tengu, ancient Norn, ancient, who would this be? It looks like straw roofs, like human or char. No, char would be more like metal, but they're in the woods, so if they didn't, well, no, you would still have access to like metals. I love these stairs going up. This is so pretty. All these like colored trees, the waterfall. This is gorgeous. And this is just one map. How does this teaser image, this teaser work with the first image we got? That was just like woods. So it could just be like this same map, just this map is going to be very woodsy. An owl tribe. An owl tribe of Tengu. Guild Wars 2, Land of the Rabbit, Lord of the Rings. Oh, a rabbit. I read that as rabbit. Order of the Stick. Oh, round buildings might be dwarves. Ooh. Dwarves on Tyria? Like fleshy dwarves on Tyria? Ooh. Symbols on the Nornish buildings kind of remind me of Native American iconography. Ooh. Yeah, I want to just like meditate in this map. It's so relaxing. And the music is so pretty. Character coming out of the water was a Norn. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They feel like they fit the most in this environment. Yeah, all the buildings are Viking like. This is very Asian. This is very Asian though. It's a totally different woods. Well, it's a big map. There could be different woods. Could be the other map. I was gonna say, would they do two woodsy maps? But SOTO had two very well. No, because SOTO had the Wizard's Tower. Oh no, the SOTO maps were very different. I was thinking of Wizard's Tower and Omnitas, which were obviously similar, but Wizard's Tower was a hub. So we're probably going to get another like player hub, um, which could be similar to one of the maps. But the maps, ArenaNet is very good at um like their expansion maps being very different from each other. So it's not just like the same over and over again. Um in in SOTO, all three maps were drastically different. Um I love pointing to Path of Fire for that point because Path of Fire, you're going to the desert, the Crystal Desert, right? Which in Guild Wars 1 was pretty much just desert. There's just long stretches of sand dunes, maybe a couple building, like ruins here and there. You had like your hub, which was just some tents in a desert. It was very desert. So in Path of Fire, you're like, oh, how is this gonna be and not just desert. Um and oh my god, the things they did in Path of Fire in the maps were so gorgeous. Like just with the Kraukatork influence, like parts that were crystal, you had tombs, and you did have your stretches of desert as needed, but like there was like oases, and then you got to like Vabi, and granted Guild Wars 1 had Vabi as well. But Guild Wars 1 had like I think 3 maps that were like just desert. It was very desert. AuroraPeachy said the Crystal Desert was very desert. That's right. You come here for quality content. Quality commentary like that. Um Kind of look like Native American longhouses. What they do? What race would that fit in Guild Wars 2? Three races coming together to defeat a foe. The moon. Hope we get a hub. Hopefully they learn their mistake from Hot Puff not having. Oh, that's right. Hot and Puff didn't have a proper hub. Yeah, I like the hub. I hope they have a hub too. Well, the hubs were kind of in the maps. Like, okay, except for Heart of Thorns. Heart of Thorns didn't really have a hub. I guess the EOD didn't really either. Um, I always saw that little first area in the Crystal Oasis, that city I'm forgetting the name of. Or was it called Crystal Oasis? I don't remember. The very where you spawn in Puff, I kind of considered that was kind of a hub, like a big city. Oh, my chat died. Am I still streaming? New Pale Tree and the Sylvari there are more tribal. Oh, Sylvari of the wild. Sotwa. Of the forest. Sotf. Amnoon. Amnoon. I always saw Amnoon as a Poff hub, even though it wasn't a separate instance. It was in the map, but it was noting what's not there. Asura Sylvari Char architecture definitely not present, right? Unless the Sylvari are using wood. What if it's Sylvari and the Sylvari are having dreams of the other races, kind of like the Cryptus did? And the Cryptus and Nyos was an introduction to the concept of Tyrians influencing dreams and then constructing things based on what they dreamt of the races of Tyria. What if this is Sylvari, who also dream of the other places and races in Tyria and came together and they all kind of made their own little Sylvari societies, and they will build based on, inspired by the dreams that they're having of other Tyrians. Oh, see, we kind of got an introduction to that concept in Nyos. Did they ever establish if the Sylvari dream is related to Nyos? I've always thought of them as separate. Oh, because the dreams that our Sylvari have, and we know that there's other pale trees. We know that there's other Sylvari, right? We know that there are Sylvari not from our pale tree that our characters are from, right? Sylvari dream of the world they will be born into. Because another Sylvari from another tree could work differently. Their dreams could work differently. What if they, like Sylvari, have to dream? What if something, they were born way out here where we never heard of them, right? And what if their like tree died and they like got disconnected, but they had to dream, so they started absorbing the dreams of everyone else in Tyria? So they were dreaming of the dwarves, they were dreaming of the Norn, they were dreaming of the Tengu. Right, we know Malik. Oh my god. Yeah, it could be Malik. Right. We never knew what happened to Malik, and because he was that's how we know, is because Malik was from another pale tree. Pale tree gives them an understanding of Tyria, not a full understanding, but enough to connect to the life of Tyria in their dreams. Oh, was it implied that the other pale trees were just the blighting trees? I don't know. I mean, those were other trees that were birthing, Sylvari. They just were Mordrum, right? Because they were corrupted by Mordremoth and controlled by Mordremoth. Um, but there could be others. Now the pale tree comes from Mordremoth, right? We never went back and like saw how the pale mama was doing, right? Or there was another influence that kept them safe. What if the wizards started influencing a pale tree way out here? Oh, see, this is all intriguing stuff. This is all very intriguing stuff. I like it. I like it. That's my favorite theory so far. That would be fascinating. Then again, we did just bring Zoja back to the main cast, so bringing the pale trees back would be inappropriate to make her face her trauma. Ooh, I don't know. Zoja said she was gonna go off into the mists and do something. She was going off on her own. I don't think Zoja's gonna be with us. She's Zoja came and went very fast. I appreciate you trying. Yeah, Zoja was like, I'm gonna go off on my own adventure. We said hi again. I Hi Commander, nice to see you. I made new friends. Now I'm gonna get my mind wiped and barely remember you, and then I'm gonna go off on my own adventure. You know what? I'm happy for her. I hope she finds something awesome. Yeah. Yeah, she went. I wonder if she's taking anybody with her. Like, is she taking some friends? Or there's some wizards that are gonna want to go explore the mists with her? You know, Zoja just casually walking into the mists. Zoteca was supposed to be an ancient land of old gods. You also got me excited by saying Utopia. Guild Wars Utopia. I mean, it could be. It could be Sylvari and Utopia. Trying to work the word Utopia. I will scream if the word Utopia is in the expansion title. If you all don't know, if you're not versed on Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 1 was supposed to have another campaign called Guild Wars Utopia. Like, we had Guild Wars Prophecies, Factions, and Nightfall. They were developing Guild Wars Utopia. Was supposed to be the next campaign, but they scrapped it in favor of doing the expansion Eye of the North, which then led into Guild Wars 2. And while we've gotten some of the ideas from Utopia, such as the Chronomancer was going to be a new profession in Guild Wars Utopia, which is now a Mesmer elite specialization. So we've gotten some of the elements of Utopia have been used in Guild Wars 2, but we've never gotten like Utopia itself. And the concept art for Utopia is wild. It's so cool. Um, so if they're going to like, it would be like after 15 years, it would be like it would be like Cantha come. Oh my god, they brought back Cantha, even though Cantha was a thing in Guild Wars 1. Utopia was only ever an idea. And so to that's like if they dropped that the expansion is like finally this is Guild Wars Utopia, I'll scream. I'll scream. That would be incredible. That would be just so hype. Yeah, the mission packs, well, the Guild Wars 1 mission packs were flashbacks that told a deeper story in the past of 4 Guild Wars 1 characters. Gwen, Sol D'Alessio, Tarai Asa, and Master Togo. Each had like a little mini story that you could go through, that told about their past and how they came to be where they are in the Guild Wars 1 story that you play. Those were the bonus mission packs. There were also some free updates after Eye of the North. There was there was the Thackeray Gwen and Karen wedding. What was it called? Guild Wars Beyond. Guild Wars Beyond was missions that were added after Eyes of the North. I don't know if that directly led into Guild Wars 2. But it told more stories. It was like a free update after Eye of the North. There was some stuff. Yeah, I'm glad for that, RJ. I'm glad that they left it open with Zoja. They didn't like kill her. They didn't I would rather I think it's a much better quote unquote ending for Zoja's story if we never see her again. To have her exploring the mists, discovering things, refinding her brand new self, kind of reinventing herself. and going on this grand adventure. I think that's a much better like send off for the character if that's what this is than her like, oh, she got, mind screwed by Mordramoth and she's been in a coma for the rest of time. Like way better ending. Way better. Ooh, the Guild Wars 1 wiki has a fascinating quote about the setting for Utopia from the 20th anniversary art book. I have that art book. Ooh, Zoteca. Um, Zoteca was to be the setting of the unreleased Guild Wars Utopia. I actually never, like, knew this. Hidden away in a lost realm of the mists, a mysterious island is said to have once served as a sanctuary to both the old gods and the new. And again, this is stuff that was never actually included. So this is like not canon. Um Mysterious Island is said to have once served as a sanctuary to both the old gods and the new. The island of Zoteca is a dull light in the heavy fog of the afterlife, a beacon to the passing of spirits of heroes from countless worlds and endless timelines. A great force once threatened Zoteca, slowly extinguishing the light of the old gods, but was quelled by the rising power of their successors. It is said that the 8 tablets of the Schism Codex told the story of its occurrence, though they are as lost to time as the island itself, a fable recounted by the people of Tyria today, floating somewhere in the realm of the dead. So this was in the 20th anniversary art book. The Hub of Time. Holy shit. I remember this artwork. So like a bunch of converging moments in time. It could absolutely fit in with the Astral Ward storyline. What if Zojja visits the mist to meet Snaf again? Aw. We were supposed to get a Chronomancer in that expansion. Was this information that was really... So this quote is from the art book, but was the rest of this information released before the art book? I don't remember ever hearing about Zoteca. I have the art book, but I've never, like, read it page to page. But if it's like a blending of, if it's like a blending of times and peoples, that fits with what we saw with the differing buildings. Guild Wars 2 Mysteries of Zoteca. Mox. Go get the Holy Tome! Go get the art book! Where is it? There it is. I feel like it should have had the, Mox! Yes, the Golem. Mysteries of Zoteca. How cool is that title? It's not going to mean anything to outsiders. It sounds awesome. That's all you need. Zoteca. That's like the coolest name I've ever heard. All we used to have was the Chronomancer and a few other concept art pieces. I think most of it is from the art book. I'm telling you, Mysteries of Zoteca. Guild Wars 2: A Ripple in Time. Here's the art book. This came out, what, a couple years ago? This is the ArenaNet 20th Anniversary Edition, so it's like Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. Okay. Where's Utopia? That's Guild Wars 1 stuff. Factions. Gosh, look at this concept art. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Ugh. Ooh. Should probably look at like the Chapter 6 Guild Wars 2. Here we go. Is this environment? Utopia. Okay, here we go. Leader of Guild Wars, Eye of the North, Utopia. There it is. So this is the Guild Wars that never was. The Guild Wars that never was. No, none of this is canon. This never came to be. This was going to be Guild Wars 1's 4th campaign, but they scrapped it to make... Look at the waterfall. Look at the waterfalls. Look at the waterfalls. Look at the rocks. Reminds you of the video, doesn't it? It kind of... Dude, it fits. Dude, it fits. Dude, it fits. Oopsie! Thank you so much for the $378, bringing us to $6,120 raised for St. Jude. We are on to something, y'all. Okay. I'm telling you, this looks like the trailer. Those mountains. Okay. Chapter 5. Guild Wars Utopia. Buckle up, kids. Get close. Get close to the fire. Grandma Peachy's gonna tell you of the Guild Wars. Hidden away in a lost realm of the mists, a mysterious island is said to have once served as a sanctuary to both the old gods and the new. The island of Zoteca is a dull light in the heavy fog of the afterlife, a beacon to the passing spirits of heroes from countless worlds and endless timelines. A great force once threatened Zoteca, slowly extinguishing the light of the old gods. But it was quelled by the rising power of their successors. It is said that the 8 tablets of the Schism Codex told the story of this occurrence, though they are as lost to time as the island itself, a fable recounted by the people of Tyria today, floating somewhere in the realm of the dead. I know it's the same quote. I'm reading it from the book. That makes it more official. The 8 tablets of the Schism Codex. Wing! Yes, perfect. Wow. Okay. And so these tablets that are lost to time, right? That Tyria only ever talks about in legend, right? Oops, sorry. And we just made friends with the wizards who have all kinds of rare and lost things from Tyria, right? So the wizards very well might have 1 to 8 pieces of the Schism Codex. And it's in a realm of the mists, which Zoja is going in to explore the mists at the end of SOTO. And it's in the afterlife. So the mists could be a way to get to the afterlife. But the commander has died before. So we've been not to the... Well, I mean, Guild Wars 1, we just like casually walked into like the underworld and the Fissure of Woe. So it's not like you can't go to the realm of the dead as a living being, right? Plus we've died and been to like purgatory. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibilities for us to visit the realm of the dead, right? And a lot of people have been talking about the gods, right? When we meet the old gods, there was a threat. There was a threat to the old gods. The old gods lived there. And then the new gods rose up and opposed the threat. And I'm assuming the new gods is like Balthazar and Lissa and Dwayna and Melandru, right? And Grenth. And at the time, Abaddon and the, ones that got kicked out. So I don't know if the old gods, we can read, there's more on the wiki page, or maybe that's from this book. I don't know. But yeah, both the trailer and the screenshots look very reminiscent of these. Remember you guys said it kind of looked Aztec, kind of looked Native American. This was the concept arts for Utopia. Snargle has 23 books? Oh, man. All right. Characters. This is from the Holy Tome. This is from Utopia. Characters. Long before the current inhabitants appeared on the island, the gods claimed the sacred grounds as their home and domain. Now that the gods have abandoned the land, whether by choice or by death, the people of Zoteca wander the fabled island. They are a most peaceful people, welcoming to other trapped souls who find themselves washed up on its shores from the waves of time. While none remain who dwelled there during the reign of the old gods, the new residents of the island are eager to explore the unfamiliar terrain. So it's like, so these inhabitants are people who died? They're like lost souls? And it was overseen by the old gods. All the old ones are dead. Huh. Interesting. The Chronomancer people look so much like Mersat to me. The Eagle Guard, there's the Eagle Guard over here. The Eagle Guard are the protectors of Zoteca, scholars and researchers. They travel the islands in search of its many secrets and fight against the mysterious forces that threaten their new home. And what is he using? Land spears? Land spears? Stabby sticks? Like we saw in the trailer? Spears are coming out of the water? Man, these concept arts are wild. AuroraPeachy. Dude, I would love this. I hope they're like, damn it, Peachy, stop. You figured it out. Oh, it's thanks to you all. I didn't think of this. You guys started talking about Utopia and Zoteca. The inhabitants of Zoteca possessed great power unknown to the people of Tyria today. Chronomancers and summoners were mythical casters. Oh, summoners, that's the other profession that we're going to be in Utopia. Hey, Brand, yes, the spears reminding you of the Paragon. Yes, I would love that. Oh my god, I loved the Paragon was like my second class in Guild Wars 1. I loved it, and I loved like the animation. I loved how they used spears. So I hope if we're getting land spears, I hope the Guardian, personally, I hope the Guardian gets spear, and I hope they use them exactly like over their heads and like throw them. I hope they get ranged spears. That would be my dream. Prediction Guild Wars 2 predictions of Peachy. Even if it's not this expansion, it can always be the next one. I mean, they have to come back to Utopia eventually. It's too juicy to pass up. It is. It is too juicy. Chronomancers and summoners were mythical casters using complex spells and conjurations to conquer their foes. Chronomancers, in opposition to the profession easily recognized in modern Tyria, used cantrips to enhance or manipulate their abilities, giving skilled individuals a clear advantage in battle. This is like the coolest concept art ever of a Chronomancer. That was the original concept for Chronomancer. How freaking awesome is that? It's so cool. And then I assume this is like a summoner, probably summoner and Chronomancer. See, the thing is, we have Chronomancers now in the game. We never got summoners, but we did get at least the name Chronomancer. I wonder if they would change it. We did get Chronomancers in, you know, the Mesmer Elite spec. Where are her limbs? I would think that this would be like the inherent, like the actual Chronomancers that live in Zoteca, and then this would be like the Chronomancer armor for like your profession as your, you know, human in Guild Wars 1. Upon casting a spell, summoners conjured powerful creatures that would come to their aid in a fight. These beings only appeared for a fleeting moment, attacking their master's opponent before vanishing shortly after. You know, that's a summoner. Hi, Francois! Creatures in Utopia. Man, there's some cool stuff here, some Hecate. Powerful creatures both threaten... I feel like a kindergarten teacher reading you a book. Oh my god. Creatures. Powerful creatures both threatened and protected the island, some as old as the gods themselves. The Tannic were particularly monstrous creatures, ravaging any township or city that they had happened upon. They were one of the greatest threats to Zoteca, summoned by a mysterious, unknown entity that sought to destroy all life on the island. Some unknown entity. Like giant creatures. Look at that. Giants. Look at this girl in like her sun hat sitting on top of whatever this rock monster is. And there's like frog people. There's like Hecate. Again, just more like woodsy area. Look at that. Some kind of time gear. Doesn't this look very like Asura? And this looks very like kind of Asura and Char-ish. More creatures. Look at that guy. More woods. Look at the woods. Forest. Environments. Rocky cliffs. I mean, I know that's very, like, generic. The children of the Forgotten were said to be the descendants of enormous winged serpents that protected Tyria long ago. They were summoned by the goddess Duena and Melandru before their departure and ordered to protect the living inhabitants that were left behind. Children of the Forgotten. So I guess that's these little creatures, these little, like, protectors. Ah, the loading screen for the Asura areas in Gwen was a Utopia concept art. A lot of stuff was reused for Eye of the North. Children of Forgotten. It would have to be Children of the Forgotten. Children of Forgotten. Sounds like there should be a the in there. Guild Wars 2 cough. I don't think cough's a very good... But then the acronym doesn't work of the Children of the Forgotten Kotf. 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 That doesn't roll off the tongue. But you know what does? Mysteries of Utopia. Environments. Every stretch of Zoteka is rich with mystery. Fixed at the heart of the island, an ancient city oversees all that pass through, and time is marked by a great wheel at its core. Beyond the gates of the city, the surface of the island is covered in rolling hills and verdant jungles, divine temples and abandoned estates. Cursed battlegrounds serve as a solemn reminder of holy wars past, and foreshadow what may be yet to come. Subterranean caverns lie beneath the lush earth, each of which is imbued with one of the elemental powers of the old gods. Ooh. 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 Wow. That big city. Hey, Biscuit. The island supposedly housed multiple shanty towns that were filled with lost souls from all stretches of time. The people of Tyria and its heroes, those who died in the war against the Char at Ascalon, who lost their lives to the skirmishes in Ilona. The Marganites, the Canthans, souls from places still undiscovered within the world today and from days that are yet to come. They all find themselves trapped on the shores of Zoteka, unable to leave. They gather in the ruins that surround the main city, named after the island itself, in an attempt to establish themselves in this strange, displaced land. Yeah, right? Good thing we have sky scales. Oh my gosh. This concept art is wild. It's so good. It's so good. Look at this. Sorry, there's glare. Look at that. That's right. If nothing else, you got me to open one of my art books and actually look at it and read from it. Between its verdant valleys and mountains, the surface of Zoteka is speckled with the remnants of the former homeland of the old gods. Enormous structures whose functions are largely unknown loom throughout the lost oasis. Relics of time and beacons of great power, they silently stand in the absence of their creators. And this one, look at this one. Look at that one. There's a waterfall and jungle again. Early Asura cubes, right? It's a big cube. Iridescent, there's nothing better than Peachy going deep into the Guild Wars 2 lore. Thank you. I love it. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't absolutely love it. The architecture of Zoteka is imbued with rich magic, giving it a distinctly inhuman appearance. To some, it may resemble the towering, illustrious structures that the Asura are known for today. Yeah, definitely repurposed for the Asura, for sure. Ooh. Go, very lush green fields. The island is surrounded by nothing and everything. The mists, or as the Zotekans call it, the unformed. Ooh. Ooh. It is a void where worlds are born and where they are destroyed. But throughout the endless cycle of birth and death, life on Zoteka continues to thrive. Despite the chaos that surrounds it or the turmoils that pierce this refuge, the afterlife continues. So interesting that like it's supposed to be the afterlife, right? It's supposed to be the afterlife, but like it's a city with people and they're living there, like, but they're all dead, like, but they're in the mists, right? Oh, here. But it's like cities. It is very Aztec. Look at that. That is awesome. I was thinking that too, Mitram. The redacted fractal that we read about in SOTO. Yeah, let's read this again. That redacted fractal. Hold on. Got too many tabs open here. I love how this just became a Guild Wars 2 stream. We read a book in SOTO that talked about the redacted fractal. It was a fractal that the wizards made, and it was like whatever we'll read the wiki page, but like whatever they found like would have destroyed Tyria, and so like they stopped it, and they only write about it and it's redacted, like the name of it and information about it, because like if they even uttered the name of it, if anybody even knew the name of it, like Tyria would be destroyed. And so I don't know if that is Zoteka, but there is like this, they talk about this mysterious threat that like took down the old gods and attacked Zoteka, right? So like maybe they didn't want anybody to maybe they discovered Zoteka, never, and then they wanted to nobody to even know about it, so they couldn't go there. My only question is, one of my questions is thank you. Excuse me. Like this is an afterlife, right? But so is the underworld? And isn't that what the Fissure of Woe is too? Like how many afterlives or underworld places are there? Is it random, like where you end up? What makes Zoteka different than like the underworld, right? Is the underworld in the mist? It's all in the mists, right? Did we ever find out about Isgarin got started founding the Astral World? What, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there was anything to that other than he started it. Maybe not Zoteka itself, but maybe the old gods. Yeah. Oh, Fissure of Woe isn't an afterlife in the underworld. Oh, was the underworld only for humans? Most tabs open at once, probably 100. Isgarin's backstory could tie with the old gods. Oh, yeah. It is very lost, isn't it? Totally is. Okay, so there's a bustling afterlife city. The island of Zoteka is a relic of time, one of the only remaining footprints left behind the old gods. Abandoned temples sit in eternal silence, carrying the secrets of creation and destruction in languages far older than Tyria itself. The thing is, if it is, if the next expansion is Utopia or Zoteca, if it's based on this, and the preview, the blog post kind of said, we're gonna go back to Tyria and like ground ourselves a little bit. Are we also then gonna go into the mists? Into this city of the afterlife? Like, that kind of seems not grounding ourselves back to Tyria. Plus, this lore again, and also not taking on too much lore in a mini expansion. This seems like a lot of lore. This seems like a lot of very deep lore to tackle in one expansion. So that part is making me think that it's maybe not this, or maybe a very tiny part of this. I did not see that spec. To me, it was more something for the Astral Ward storyline, but not for this expansion necessarily. So here's the other concept art of the like locations. So cool. And then weapons. Look at that. Spears. Spears. Spears and swords and staffs. Weapons. The weaponry on Zoteca is crafted from the scraps of the ancient cities and ruins that line the land. Made from whatever material the human inhabitants can amass to protect themselves from the great beasts and other hostile souls that may pass through the mists. These weapons are as vibrantly decorated and opulent as they are harsh and violent. That's it. And then we go to Guild Wars 2. I mean, you can make a lot of connections. You can make a lot of connections between the teeny weeny bit of information that trailer gave us, and the screenshot and the information and just connections from SOTO. I can see how a lot of concepts in SOTO could lead to a Utopia expansion. No, the artwork for the Timey Place was not in there. That's this one. This was not in the book. At least not in that section. And this is a Utopia thing. This is so cool. Holy crap. So like one map could be this, the other map is like the forest and the rocks, and then the hub. This is cities, so one of these could be the hubs. Or you've got that, like, portside city. See what else this says on Zoteca. Zoteca is an island situated in the mists, which is known to the natives as the Unformed. At the heart of the island is an ancient city named after the island itself that oversees all that pass through, and time is marked by a great wheel at its core. In the ruins surrounding the city, lost souls drawn to the island have attempted to establish themselves in shantytowns. These lost souls, some of this is what we already read. These lost souls come up from all over Tyria, including parts that haven't yet been discovered, and from various points in Tyria's history and future. Outside the city, the island is covered in a diverse array of environments, from hills to jungles to valleys to mountains. The landscape is littered by evidence of its former divine inhabitants, with temples, ruined estates, and cursed battlegrounds. Enormous structures, their functions lost to time, stand silently in the absence of their creators. This architecture is imbued with rich magic, and to some it may resemble the towering, illustrious structures that the Asura are known for today. Beneath the earth are subterranean caverns, each of which is imbued with one of the elemental powers of the old gods. That's super cool. Yes. History. Zoteka was created by the old gods eons ago to serve as their sanctuary. The term old gods referred to a pantheon of gods that predated the 5 true gods. The island of Zoteka once served as a sanctuary to these gods and is one of the last traces of the old gods in existence. A great force once threatened Zoteka. I want to keep reading. A great force once threatened Zoteka, slowly extinguishing the light of the old gods via the Tenex. The canceled 4th standalone Guild Wars campaign fell. Oh, it's just Utopia. But was quelled by the rising power of their successors. The telling of these events is recalled in the 8 tablets of the Schism Codex. Now we're just on a wiki, rabbit hole. The old gods created colossal golems, far more complex and mysterious than the ones the Asura would later develop to guard the Zotekans. They existed in partial unity with the natives since the island creation, made of rock and other natural resources adorned with an eerily human expression. Ooh. The surface of Zoteka is spotted with remnants and relics of the old gods. Enormous structures whose functions are largely unknown still stand there. Each of the old gods imbued one of their elemental powers into a subterranean cavern beneath the lush of the island. Nobody from the time of the old gods remains on Zoteka. Dwayna's father, Abaddon's predecessor, Arachnia? Arachnia, a now dead spider god. Oh, according to the data file, Arachnia is the name of a now dead spider god said to be older than Abaddon and the other 5 true gods themselves. I have never heard that before. Oh, interesting. Data mined. To the humans of Kryta, the old gods refers to the 5 true gods, not confusing at all, right? In contrast to the new gods of the Mersat. That's not confusing at all. No, that makes sense. The existence of a set of gods predating the current pantheon was first hinted at in the Apostates, A Quest in Nightfall. The core feature that Utopia was being built around was giving players choices through forms of quests and having consequences for the collective choices made by the community. Imagine a storyline that branched every couple of weeks or months based on the total number of completions of one set of quests versus another. Which group of people did you choose to provide assistance to? Did you focus your efforts on the hospital or the orphanage? Wow, that's ambitious. While we were building out the story and associated characters, we started playing with the in-game tech more and more. It got to the point where we started to ask questions about things fundamentally associated with Guild Wars as a whole. I think the big turning point came when we essentially created a prototype for something like Shaymore that was a persistent map that had 50 plus people running and jumping around. Like Joe mentioned, some of the foundational code work was built around instances being the core PvE content. As we started to try to break that mold, the tech hurdles started becoming larger. I know the engine programmers were also trying to push the boundaries on the quality of assets we were creating, but I don't remember the specifics there. Ultimately, it wasn't a single idea that pushed us over, but enough things popped up that we decided our efforts would be better spent moving our designs into a new game. That led to Guild Wars 2. Eparch and the Cryptus. Maybe Eparch and the Cryptus are Arachnia's children. I mean, they're kind of spider-like, but they're so associated with dreams. I don't see a connection between like a spider god and dreams. But then you wouldn't see a plant dragon and dreams being connected either. The players would better save the Quaggins. Professions. I remember a little about this, but most of it was only in very early prototyping, so please take this with a grain of salt. None of the content for Utopia ever reached a true playable state, so this is very much my speculation from early designs that were sent to content programming for feedback. There was an iteration of Summoner that would have been about quickly cycling their summoned creatures compared to Necromancers who try to keep their minion flock going. Summoners would be using up or combining their summons to bring out stronger or alternative versions to suit the situation. Oh man, that's all Yu-Gi-Oh! A gimmick for Chronomancer that made it to prototype was that they would have very long casting time spells, but instant cast that affected a spell while it was casting. So you might start warming up a 4-second spell, but then use a second skill before it activated to modify its effect. That is cool! Unfortunately, I don't know much about the class lore or if any other classes were considered. Both classes tied into some of the themes for Utopia, time, beings lost in the mists, but I'm not familiar enough with the design to elaborate. Don't believe we got to the point of really developing class lore for Utopia. Most of it was still in early paper design when we canceled the project. I don't recall us ever really considering any other classes than Summoner or Chronomancer. It's like meta magic. Utopia was to be set in Zoteca, not a continent in the world of Tyria, as with the other campaigns, but an island of reality in the mists, the multiverse of the Guild Wars setting. According to Lindsay Murdoch, Zoteca was a sort of home or playground of the gods of Tyria, and was to feature an expanded pantheon of the gods, such as Dwayna's father. It would also feature characters from across the timeline, and both Gwen and Mordecai, Devona's father, were to be main characters. Utopia concept art also features Saul D'Alessio and Lady Glave's Corsairs. Joe Kims later said that the line about the playground of the gods doesn't sound accurate. Just as Ilona had an African theme and Cantha has an Asian theme, Zoteca was to have a Mesoamerican aesthetic with occasional elements from South America. Among the most recognizable elements depicted in the concept art are architecture from I'm sorry for these pronunciations, El Tajin, and Chichen Itza, reoccurring, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, codex art, statues from Tula, an Olmec colossal head, Mayan stone carvings, and script. Oh my gosh, all kinds of stuff. Early logo for Guild Wars 2. You were right about the Inca. Hey, Rand. Retrospective post. Got to read that. Came to the stream late. Yeah. Oh, we read the retrospective post. Here's the link if you want it. We're just going off the deep end tinfoil hat prediction on what the next expansion will be. Territory. There's a little teaser for the next expansion, and yeah, we're currently going off the deep end of Guild Wars Utopia, thinking that it might be based on that. The more I think about them saying, though, we want to have the next expansion be grounded in Tyria, kind of does just diminish that. But I think this supports it right here with the different building styles. Definitely supports the Utopia theory because of the meshing of different times and different peoples. Spear on land, though. Spear on land. There's a lot of spears in the Utopia like with the guards and stuff. Next week, we're gonna know next week. You know what would ground the story? A wedding. That's right. That's right. This under here, this is obviously some kind of underground cavern. It could just be like a little tunnel to the other side. But this reminds me of all the stuff we're reading about the gods. Each had like an underwater cave that was attuned to their element. That's what this little cave reminds me of. Get your tinfoil out. That's right. We are. Just these names are amazing. Yeah, all this concept art was not in the book. Wow. That is so cool. Oh my god. That's beautiful. Bridge Castle? That's ambitious. These environments are very ambitious for Guild Wars 1. But not so much for Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 could do this. Waterfall, greens. Wow. It's beautiful. Wow, this is stunning. All of this. Timing's so bad though, because this is all very Dawn Trail. Look at the lizards! Look at the llama! Or alpaca, or whatever it is. Wow, dude. The snakes, a giant snake example. This is wild. This stuff is wild. My god. Deco pyramid. This stuff is insane. Temple pits. Man. Tall ruins. Domino bridge. Jeez. Land fishing. Stair room. Just make this. Make this game. Just Serpent Crevice. Make this just like a single player adventure game. I want to play this so bad. I want to see these environments in like Unreal Engine 5. These are amazing. I know I saw us draw a roof. Utopia confirmed. Dragon Valley. My god. That's Suwon. That's the project they've been hiring for, right? You're gonna make Utopia. There you go. Mysteries of Utopia is their next game, not the next Guild Wars 2 expansion. Didn't they use this or a concept art very like this in Guild Wars 2? Isn't this like a loading screen or something? Hey, Red Huntress! There she is. There she is on her rock golem. Yeah, it does look very familiar. Print concept art. Ooh, Chronomancer girl. That is so cool. Ugh. Tyrant. That just looks like One of the Titans. Tube worm. Nope. That's a bunch of nope. 10x. That looks very similar to some Char concept art. Core. You got 4 arms. Female shaman. Chronomancer. They're so cool. Jeez. Lady Possessed. Another summoner, probably. Lord Face Possessed. Ugh. Gwen. I think we're past, Wow, look at all that. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's right, because they said that Gwen was going to be a character. Boo. What? That... Something concept of like, I don't know. Here, have this race. Someone just drew something for fun. They're like, here you go. She's standing like a Final Fantasy character. This is a monk. Didn't that become monk armor in Guild Wars 1? Yeah, monk tower concept art. 2 pyramids. What's that? Oh, yeah, that guy had a land spear. Here's the link. Right, every core profession would have got new gear, yeah. Oh, this one with the 2 pyramids. Cave ruins. Oh, getting tired. Schism Codex. The 8 tablets of the Schism Codex told the story of the great force which once threatened Zoteca. This force threatened to slowly overwhelm the old gods until the emergence of the new gods defeated it. The tablets are now considered lost to time. It's just a great force. What if that's redacted? A mysterious book found in the Astral Ward archives and the Wizard's Tower. The process has accelerated rapidly in the redacted fractal. Subjects are present but changed. Substantial mutation has been observed. The method of redacted spread has still not been determined. So this is like the threat. So, because if it's the redacted is something like spreading. The method of redacted spread has still not been determined, but it has overtaken all subjects. So this is the force or whatever. It has overtaken all subjects it's come in contact with. More frighteningly, symptoms have appeared in subjects who were far away from and only heard about it, suggesting that even knowing about redacted may be enough for it to take hold. That is so cool. That is so cool. Conclusion: due to the unique nature of redacted, we strongly recommend the fractal be expunged and all records of it be heavily censored. Redacted should be treated as an extreme level threat, requiring immediate termination of all exposed if it is ever detected in Tyria. Urgent steps need to be taken to ensure redacted never becomes aware of Tyria at all. That's the best thing that SOTO gave us. That is so cool. That is so endlessly fascinating. Oh my god. And then, like, it's something that spreads and something that mutates and overtakes subjects, but it's something that can become aware of Tyria. It reminds me of the concept of Kardashev scale, which was utilized in Chinlu's book 3 Body Problem. I have to watch that. and there were Trisolarians, aliens of other worlds that found out about the existence of humans and wanted to take over Earth. I speculate that maybe aliens of the mists aliens of the mist, there you go, Adam, may want to inhabit Tyria because Aurene makes it peaceful and nice. But once some aliens find out about Tyria being so nice, they will want to kill Tyrians and live there because their home is threatened to be destroyed. I haven't seen Three Body Problem, so I don't know. Like I only know what you said there about it, but Right, even knowing about it can infect you. That is so fascinating. What did the it said about in Utopia? My brain's starting to overheat. What connection am I trying to make here? With the old gods, it said there was a force. Listen. A great force once threatened Zoteca, slowly extinguishing the light of the old gods, but was quelled by the rising power of their successors. It said that the 8 tablets of the Schism Codex told the story, but they were lost to time. Floating somewhere in the realm of the dead. And the book said, or somewhere said, that when the old gods died, all of the people who were who were living there under the protection of the old gods also died. Or, well, I guess if Zoteca's already a land of the dead, I don't know, do you super die? Whatever that is, do they super die? What if the only way to get rid, what if the Great Force is this redacted thing, and the only way to get rid of it is to kill everybody that knows it? Because that's what this said, is requiring immediate termination of all exposed if it's ever detected. Well, if the old gods, if this force took over the old gods and all of their people, the only way to get rid of it would be to kill everyone. And then told about it, and then the Schism Codex that told of it, you would have to hide that too. You would have to erase that too. Everything would have to be destroyed and hidden of the old world. And probably even these successors, probably a bunch of them died. A bunch of them had to be killed. The ones that knew about it. The ones that found out and killed them, well, then they knew about it, so they also had to die. There's a lot of connections you can make, and it's super fun. I love it. I love just making these connections. It's so fun. Doesn't that mean the person who wrote the original note is dead because he knew about it? Not this note. No, that's an interesting question, is that in the fractal, whoever knew about it. Oh, that's an interesting question. If whoever was studying that fractal then knew about it, right? So did it spread to them? It says the subjects who were far away, it took hold on them. That's a good question. Was it able to permeate the fractal? Probably, because it said that if it was detected in Tyria, it would require extermination, and we hope that it doesn't become aware of Tyria. Right? The person who wrote this and redacted the name, I wonder if they got terminated. Wow. Wow. Measuring a civilization's level of technological development. That sounds like the Prime Directive in Star Wars. It's like if a civilization has not achieved warp, then you aren't supposed to like make yourselves known to them. Tyria is a Type 1 civilization. Civilization is able to access all the energy available on its planet and store it for consumption. They should also be able to control natural events such as earthquakes and volcanoes. Long millennia of Dragon Circle was to prepare the world of Tyria for the prismatic dragon. Thanks to her, there will no longer be natural catastrophes that were tied to the previous Elder Dragons. Now that Tyria has reached this type, new paths have opened, and with it, new threats. It's actually I like that explanation. That because it's changed because of her. It is actually justified that we finally learn about the Astral Ward that protect Tyria like mythological Atlas. They most certainly didn't have much problem protecting the world from outside forces from the mists because all the enemies knew that Tyria was busy with internal problems that the Elder Dragons caused, so why should they care? But it's not the case anymore. So once Tyria achieves this next level, this evolution, then it attracts other races. I like that concept. Aurene ascending to be the one Elder Dragon was amazing. It opens way for a peaceful future on Tyria, but at the same time, every force outside of Tyria sees Aurene as an incredibly powerful being. Her rich magic power is a power that any powerful entity would love to claim. See, that's the part that I would want to be like, that's so like, big bad wants power. Aurene's strong. We want Aurene. I like, it's so base. It's so just like quest for power. Like, I want something more interesting than that. Though Aurene is asleep, filtering magic, it doesn't mean someone wouldn't want to wake her up. We have been here before, like a forced awakening, like Mordramoth. Yup, Bangar awakened Jormag using Spirits of the Wild. Scarlet used the Breachmaker to wake Mordramoth. I think there's a reason Aurene never wanted to tell us where exactly she was, to rest in case someone tortured us with mind tricks to find out where she was. That's a great point. But there may be someone that will plot to reach out to Aurene. It'll take a long time. One day someone will succeed when this cycle sooner or later will come to an end. I'm sure many will try. The more outside forces try, the faster they can awaken Aurene. I like that. I like that. Yeah. I didn't think about, like, people waking up Aurene. Or waking up Mordramoth, waking up Jormag. Something like that would be very interesting. Them, like, looking for her sleeping spot. Yeah. I think that's a cool concept. And just because someone could come and, like, try to wake up Aurene, or that's their intention, doesn't mean that we have to bring Aurene back into the story. That could just be, like, their purpose for coming, their purpose for invading, and we have to stop them from doing that. It doesn't mean that Aurene ever even has to be found or touched in the story. No, Talus, you can't say my favorite concept in Star Trek is midichlorian. No. I never said the Prime Directive in Star Wars, did I? I didn't say Star Wars, did I? I don't know anything about Star Wars. No, I'm sorry. I I misspoke. My brain is fried. But this is what I love. This is what I love about Guild Wars 2 lore, is how deep and how cool it can be. And I want those stories back. I want that excitement back. So I hope we get something very, very cool, and we'll find out. Today was a lot of reading. we will find out next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, they're going to announce the next expansion. I'm so excited. We're going to take the entire day and do this again. Oh my goodness. I loved that. I loved that blog post just to, you know what they have acknowledged that they could do better, and what what worked, what didn't work from their perspective, right? Because we know what the community thinks, but hearing the things that the devs want to improve upon is super cool to see. We don't need Tuesday. We already figured everything out. My money is on Mysteries of Utopia. No, wait. No. Mysteries of, what's the Zoteca. I was like, wait, that acronym doesn't work. MAL? No, MOX. Mysteries of Zoteca. MOX. That's right. I want to forget about Nyos. Keep in mind Patha, because she's your demon mom, and move on. Better stories await. Yeah, that's the good thing about Nyos is, while there's still tidbits that we can draw upon, the Nyos story is pretty much done. It's wrapped up, a bow is put on it, and it's done. Patha's on the throne. She's got to build up her people. Even if Isgarin left it a tiny bit open for the far future, saying that, well, if they wanted to invade again, it would be a long time, like longer than your lifetime, because they'd have to build back up their numbers to even try. So that kind of shut down any trouble that there could be with Nyos. And we trust Patha, right? There was no twist at the end of SOTO, unfortunately. I was hoping so much that there was going to be some kind of exciting twist or something we didn't see coming. And there really wasn't anything. It was just very standard ending. But it did wrap up SOTO in a nice little bow. And I'm glad they gave us a little preview that they're gonna wait on the third map for the new expansion. They're not gonna do they're gonna start out with 2 maps, but then instead of in thirds, they're gonna skip a release and add stuff to the core 2 maps, and then do a double release, a half and half release of the last map for the next expansion. I thought that was cool to give us that little teaser there. I think that's a good way to do it. We have Patha as an ally now if we need her. Patha's gonna officiate the wedding. Yeah, that'd be cool. Kind of how someday in the far future, it'd be neat for Aurene to show up again. Aurene Ex Machina. That'd be cool for Patha to show up randomly a couple years from now and be like, Wayfinder, and we're like, oh, Wayfinder. Oh my god, Patha! That'd be neat. I think that'd be neat. Oh, the Nyos thing they could do is them getting attacked before the enemy comes to Tyria, as a warning. Yeah, it could be something like that. Because apparently, well, that would more be the Wizard's Court. Well, who knows how it's all connected through the mists, right? Because the Cryptists were coming from Nyos to the to the Wizards, right? And from there, they could then get to Tyria. So it's they had to go through the Wizards. Did Patha get out of our head? But we know that things can get from the mists directly to Tyria, so Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm exhausted. Sorry we didn't get to a game today. I didn't expect to go this rabbit hole-y in Guild Wars, but it was super fun because we don't do it that often anymore. So yeah, this was super, super, super fun. Oh, thank you. Yes, I need to hydrate. I don't think I took a break other than, I don't know, did I take a break? Thank you, Iridescent. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. Like I'm so happy to hear, you know, because me, I could just like bleh about Guild Wars forever. And obviously, you know, people are here and interested in it, but to like actually hear like this was, you know, a great stream. I loved talking about this. Like that's that feels really good to know that like I'm not the only one like uber geeking out, you know. Oh, the break to change into streamer pants. That's right. The streamer pants served me very well. I think Paith is a lot of people's wife. I did get up to get the art book. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Thank you. We did. We hadn't, yeah, and we hadn't had a just chatting stream in forever, even if we were in the Guild Wars 2 category. Right. Yeah, I love it. You can even, my throat's even, like, my voice is going. Yeah, I started watching the Lightbringers podcast. I'm very interested in everybody's thoughts on the finale. So yeah, go watch that. That's Jebro's podcast, The Lightbringers. Go watch the new trailer, thumb it up. There's the blog post with all the new info, so go support that. And all the things. And oh my gosh. Okay. So Friday for sure I will be live because that is our 10-year Twitch anniversary. On Friday, I will have streamed on Twitch for 10 years. So that's a quarter of my life. So, just thank you all for that. And so we'll probably have another just chatting stream, just hanging out stream on Friday. Yay! So if you like just chatting streams, this weekend is going to be very busy. So Friday we're going to have our 10th anniversary celebration stream. Saturday we are going to have our community day. That'll be our last official fundraising day for St. Jude. And I think, is there okay, nothing like set in stone for Sunday. So yeah. So definitely Friday and Saturday got some cool stuff going on. So I hope to see you guys. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Ardog. Thank you all. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate it. It's getting dark in here. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to go play D&D. We got D&D tonight. So, I'm going to go do that. And I hope you all have an amazing week. Thank you so much for all of the love. And thanks for geeking out with me. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Peachy Bot. Peachy Bot put my links to all my main channels in the chat. And there is the link to my VOD channel. Share my my D&D stories in Discord. Oh my goodness. You got the 7-year badge, Emmy. Thank you. I saw Jartrana. Thank you. All right. Take care, everybody. I love you so much. I'll talk to you in Discord. I will see you on Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care. Stay peachy and happy and healthy and all those good things. I love you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Uh-oh. Ah! There it is. Bye.